Namaskar. Welcome to NFL Masala. And yes, you may be seeing a different face like starting off, but it's Monday and you know what it means. It is season 4 episode of NFL Masala where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a little bit of spice. Today I am your main host for today's episode, Rakshak, and I am joined for this very special episode by two guest contributors. First, I would like to give a shout out to right here, our full-time NFL Masala correspondent on the field, Mr. Abhishek Ramani. Knows days off. How you doing, my man?
How you doing, man? This will be fun.
And not only that, we have another special guest today, and of course, coming up on the screen, my man from the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast, Mr. Asif Batai. How are you doing today?
Can't complain, man. I'm excited for this one. It should be a fun time. Can't wait to talk ball.
Yeah, after especially what's happened over the week. So today we will be discussing, as you probably know, we will be discussing the NFC East division breakdown. But before that, we got some Damakidar news to break through. And by the way, we do have a special guest coming in later during the show. So be tuned for who that person is. But with that being said, gentlemen, are we ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All good here.
Awesome. So with that being said, the first set of Damakidar news we have, this is according to Elena Getzenberg of ESPN. Buffalo Bills running back James Cook did not participate in training camp practice for a second straight day on Monday as he continues to seek a contract extension. He's in his final year of his rookie deal. He briefly appeared in the team's practice, but not in uniform. Instead, he was on workout gear and a beanie, walked by outside the outskirt of the field, and then went back to the team's locker room. He did not practice for the fourth year. He did not practice on Sunday's practice, but he was on the field for the entire season. He said told reporters that he wasn't participating because of business. I believe at the point he's trying to get a contract extension because as of now, the Bills have extended 3 other members of the 2022 draft class this offseason, which is Christian Benford, Terrell Bernard, and Khalil Shakir. And it's a bit of a trouble with the Bills. What do you guys think about this?
You can go first, Asif.
Sure. Again, I really don't think it's much of an issue for the Bills, considering not only just they're probably the best team in their division, but again, it's the AFC East. I don't think there's any team that's close to them who can even make noise or can even challenge them for the division title. So, yeah, it sucks that they're not getting this contract done, but they will get it done. He's too important to the offense, and, they have nobody else really who's like star-studded on that offense outside of Josh Allen, right? So they're going to get the best players paid, and McDermott likes to run the ball. Joe Brady likes to run the ball. I think they'll get it done. I'm not really too worried about what's going on in Bills camp in that sense.
Holy shit. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just got breaking Damakidar news. Straight from Adam Schefter. There's been a trade. The Las Vegas Raiders are sending cornerback Jacorian Bennett to the Eagles in exchange for Thomas Booker, defensive tackle, per sources.
So, again, we're probably going to get into it a little bit later in regards to the Eagles, but it's been a struggle with cornerback 2 in camp. Guys have not been playing as well as maybe they have anticipated, and this trade basically just highlights exactly that. So trying to bring in another body to see if they can challenge some of the other guys for depth, and losing Thomas Booker, who has been playing okay in camp, but they trust the depth on the defensive line. And, again, I think that bodes trouble to some degree for Philadelphia. But again, we'll get into that, I'm sure, a little bit later in the show. So,
I mean, like, just in time, I think like Herbie, another one of my Instagram guys, was telling me, oh, by the way, just sending out this news as we were talking about the James Cook. But Abhishek, I actually wanted to get your opinion on this one.
No,
On
I'm with Asif, right? I mean, the Bills, they run the ball, they run the ball, they run the ball, right? They started last year. Their receiving core was the power of friendship. Literally, there was no number one. There was Shakir. I think Matt Collins was there last year, and Keon Coleman. I know he was in and out with injury, but pretty much it was Josh Allen and James Cook. James Cook led, if I'm correct, he led the league in rushing touchdowns. So he deserves the money. I think the problem here, and it's just the market, right? He is at a point where lucky for him, unlucky for him. I mean, maybe lucky for him, unlucky for the Bills, right? You're in a spot where, and I hate to say this because running backs are so valuable, but do you really want to invest that much money in a running back, right? I mean, at this rate, it's starting to look like you can put any running back there because you had Ray Davis and he ran berserk. You put James Cook and he did really well. Josh Allen is the other running back essentially, right? I mean, do you really want to pay? But they do have the cap space, so I don't see why they don't. They're not. I doubt they make a trade for any other big receiver. I feel like they're set in their team, so to make sure that they don't screw things up, because man, their window's just barely open. If I'm being very honest, I mean it's open because of Josh Allen, but it's barely open because Patrick Mahomes is there, Joe Burrow's still there. So you got to do whatever you can to slip through that very narrow avenue that's there at the end in the AFC. And I feel like you said, Asif, I think they're going to get the deal done. I think they're just playing hardball now, and I feel like James Cook and they're banking. I wouldn't be shocked if they're banking on the fact that a guy loves playing football and he wants to be back on the field. That he's just going to take the best deal that he's going to get. He's not going to get Christian McCaffrey worth. I don't think he's worth Saquon Barkley money. I don't think he's worth. Who else is on that top list? I know Derrick Henry. Like, if he gets paid like Josh Jacobs, I feel like that's very good value for the Buffalo Bills. And so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully they get it done. We got a month left before the season starts, so better get it done.
Yep, definitely. And the next bit of news is, of course, even with some good, there has to be some Kachada news that we have to bring. We have a Kachada moment, which is basically Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman. He was released from custody and will not face a weapons violation charge after being arrested on Friday in LA following a traffic stop, and in which police discovered 5 firearms. This is according to NFL.com. And with that being said, Perryman can resume preparing for the 2025 season with the Chargers. August 10th is their first game, so I'm not going to say anything about that, but don't like that look. That is all I will say, and that is all I can say. And then also we did see a couple of contract extensions. One of the biggest ones being from the Dolphins, defensive tackle Zach Seiler, Seiler. He has agreed to a 3-year, $64 million contract extension. Which includes $44 million guaranteed, according to Rappaport and Pelissero on Sunday. Seiler joined the Dolphins in 2019 off waivers from Baltimore during his 7 seasons. He's developed to a full-time starter for the last 2 seasons. Last season, 55 tackles, 10 sacks, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. It was the second straight season that Seiler recorded double-digit sacks. So I think this is well deserved, and plus he will be a good veteran piece along the defensive line, and with some experience, especially when you're getting Minkah Fitzpatrick, KJ Britt, and drafting Kenneth Grant and Jordan Phillips. But also you have to keep in mind their pass rusher Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb are going to be taking will have like time off because a knee injury and an ACL respectively. So I think this is definitely a good deal for for Zach Seiler on this one. And with that being said, I think that should be a good amount of the Makidar news, because we did have a breaking one again. Howie Roseman and the Eagles not wasting any time trading defensive tackle Thomas Booker to the Raiders in exchange for cornerback Jacorian Bennett. And I think the Raiders were definitely in needed of a defensive tackle ever since they let go of Christian Wilkins. But what the hell that was going on over there? We don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Gotta let it go.
Yeah, gotta let it go. Move on. That's all I can say. And with that being said, we are now onto the NFC East preview. One of the most entertaining for some people controversial, maybe overrated, but who gives a shit? We're the only division that has which every single team has Super Bowl rings. Please understand that. And to Anand saying, and I want to let my co-host, Mr. Anand, the Packers fan, who was immediately, and guess who we have here? Mr. Pete Nathan at the Pete Nathan Podcast. How are you doing, my man? Oh, you can't hear us? Everything okay? Okay, you'll be back. Oh, okay. Whoops. Never mind. Okay, so he'll be back later. So.
We could hear him, but we could.
Yeah,
he was like whispering.
We heard him just fine.
Yeah, but with that being said, it's time to talk about the NFC East. And Anand, you saying about the Packers being from like the best team and whatnot, you having your Lombardi, your NFL championship since I don't know, this was like way before the toothbrush was invented, before we had cable television and whatnot. Bro, them Lombardis is what we're talking about, baby. That's all we could say.
Exactly.
And with that being said, let's begin. And we have to start with the lowest of lows. And because you guys are here, let me bear the brunt of all of this and talk about one of the worst teams. The New York. What the hell is going on with this team, Giants? How can we summarize this team? It was it was below mid at best. It you had again a QB carousel of mid-level QBs, especially with the fact that you decided to pay away to say, oh, we're going to pay Daniel Jones more than our star running back. Like, that is like ass backwards. And finally, now I can say this properly, we have our man, Mr. Pete Nathan of the Pete Nathan Show and fellow Eagles podcaster. How are you doing, my man?
Hey, what up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
What's going on, man?
Going on.
Yeah, you're just in time because we're now breaking down with the worst team ever, the New York Giants. So, what did they do? Let's see. They did everything wrong. Yes, they did get Malik Neighbors, which I thought that guy balled out. What else? Oh yeah, 3-14 season. They finished last and failed to qualify for the playoffs. Did I miss anything? Honestly, did I miss anything about the Giants? What can be summarized in three?
Right, they did, like you just said, you teed it off. They paid the quarterback after a very, I will say, they had a pretty good season that year whenever they made the playoffs, won that one playoff game. Paid Daniel Jones, let Saquon walk. Same year Saquon wins his Super Bowl, they had to cut Daniel Jones midway through the season because they didn't want to pay him anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of summarizes it.
Yeah. And it doesn't get any worse. Let me just bring up the stats, and thank you to Anand for filling this out. Please bear in mind, this is Giants. Just take it with a grain of salt. And no disrespect to Giants fans, but you're in this situation at the moment. QB Daniel Jones, the man to replace Eli, was so bad enough to be replaced. 5th worst EPA per dropback among QBs with 275 plus passing attempts. 6th worst QBR. 2nd worst touchdown interception rate. 3rd lowest adjusted net yards per pass attempt, but 16th in CPOE. So a lot of easy completions, checkdowns, but he's again not a good explosive QB. Their offensive line What's the French word? Oh yeah, garbage for garbage. 21st in rush yards generated, third highest pressure rate allowed, 12th highest adjusted sack rate allowed. Jesus Christ.
Brutal. That's brutal.
Awful.
And yes, I'm not summarize it perfectly. It sucked ass. And by the way, the running it's not and trust me, it gets even worse. Running backs overall 24th in EPA per rush attempt, but Tyrone Tracy was the only lone back. He had pretty good 34th in DYAR and 22 in yards per carry. Receivers were 31st in EPA per target, which is kind of shocking, except with Malik Neighbors, because he was like 7th in yards, but very bad in efficiency measures. Again, you gotta blame it on the QB. Whoever the hell was throwing the ball to them. Like, I mean, outside of Malik Neighbors, who was it? Like, who else was in there? Like, I don't know.
Darius Slayton,
Wan'Dale Robinson. And you were expecting like their tight ends to get involved too, but you would expect Brian Dable to make proper adjustments. Like, you know what? It's so bad. I will tell. Let me read off to you a couple of stats. Please bear with me, and I'm going to repeat this for those that are listening. This is the Giants. We're talking about a trash ass of a team. They're rushing. Their lead rusher, Tyron Tracy, 839 total rushing yards, averaging 4.4 yards per carry. Devin Singletary, and then Daniel Jones. Malik Neighbors was the only rookie. He was a rookie, only player with 109 receptions out of 170 targets, 1,204 receiving yards. This kid's already a menace, and he's gonna be a bigger one if he gets with the right quarterback. Wan'Dale Robinson came in second with 699. Darius Slayton, and then I forgot Theo Johnson with 331. They didn't do shit with their tight ends. Like, the offensive play scheme was so vanilla. Like, and you saw how much the deviation it was when Saquon Barkley was on that offense. Now without him, you're like, defense is going to say, oh, we don't need to worry about the run. There's Malik Neighbors. We could just put one-on-one on him and go after who the hell is quarterback. We can easily step out the run. But the only good side was that defense. 28th overall, 30th pass, but 11th against the rush. The defensive line is basically one of the reasons that they even survived. I mean, especially with the likes of Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari. We'll get to him later. They were 10th. They 10th in O-line rush yards allowed, 4th highest stuffing percentage, 4th highest adjusted sack rate, 14th in pressure rate. I mean, again, they didn't have let's see. Oh right, they let go of Xavier McKinney. Their secondary. And you're expecting guys like Adoree Jackson, Cordell Flott, Deontay Banks, Drew Phillips, and yes, the pickup of Brian Burns did help out, but he was playing mostly in the edge, and they were able to attack the Giants' defense easily through to easy, quick passing games. You saw what the Eagles did when they let Saquon run loose on them. Even the Cowboys were able to go 2-0 against the Giants because the Giants didn't know what the hell they were doing. Against a top wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb and a good tight end in Jake Ferguson. But then again, it is the Giants. I have to keep on reminding myself this. Anything else that you thought about when you looked at their 2024 at their 2024 stats? Like, anything that stood out to you, like outside of the stats? Like, what were your thoughts on this dismal Giants season?
I mean, go. Okay.
Abhishek, go ahead. Go ahead.
What I was going to say was, I think it is you mentioned that it was the quarterback's fault, right? And while it was, I don't put 100% of the blame on their quarterback. I put 30% on the quarterback, and 70% on that god-awful front office. Yeah, we can talk about how Daniel Jones or Drew Lock or Danny DeVito, not Danny DeVito, sorry, what's his name? Tommy DeVito.
It might as well have been Danny DeVito.
Might as well have
Might as well have
Danny
been him.
DeVito, literally.
It's
Hey, he
always
might be related.
Hey, it's always sunny. It's always raining in New Jersey, in East Rutherford.
Yeah, literally, like I just think it's so difficult to blame a player or a set of players when you just don't have anything around you. Like Daniel Jones isn't Tom Brady. Like you just can't put a bunch of randos and say go play, right? Like not everyone's like that. So to not even invest in your offensive line, to not Andrew Thomas is just the only good piece that's on that offensive line. Like yes, letting go of Saquon Barkley was dumb, but even when having Saquon Barkley, literally his stats would be -1, 2, 1, 2, -5, -5, 80-yard touchdown. Like literally that's what it is, right? Because this just ends up how like they just break one play open. And then skill positions, you just named it. Malik Neighbors is the only player. Put 2 on him, go one-on-one with everyone else, you're gonna lose. Like if you're the Giants, I mean, there's no one else to blame but the front office. Brian Daboll got screwed, right? Like you don't have players to even scheme on. Yes, the scheme was vanilla. You really got to use the players you have, but like, geez, man, you could put Tom Landry back there and you probably would still end up with a 4-3-14 team. All right, okay, worst case scenario, 4-12, like whatever, 4-13. Like nothing much you could do about it, in my opinion. I think it's just all starts from the top, and if this is an abysmal season, we're just going to see a full overhaul again. We're going to see Daboll gone. We're going to see. I think they got a new GM recently, right? This year.
I know.
Or
I think Joe Sheen is still the GM for the Giants.
He should be gone. I thought he should be gone last year.
Yeah.
But it sucks. Brian Daboll's a really good coach, in my opinion. I just think that he's just going to get axed for having a really bad set of owners.
Yeah.
But Abhishek, what was the one word that you said that you talked about it? Just remind the viewers.
Well, I mean, they're not Jerry, but they're still dog shit, though. So, I mean.
There it is.
At least Jerry does what Jerry does, but he's consistently stupid, but he's not the Giants. So we'll get to that part. I have a lot to say about him, but we will. But yeah, that's how I felt about the Giants. They were just another team in the division, guaranteed 4th place. You were gonna get an automatic 2 wins off of them. It's just It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Asif and Pete?
Go ahead.
Well, listen. A lot of what Abhishek said was true. It's tough. It's tough to put a good product out there when, the ingredients you have in the kitchen are literally not good. You know what I mean? Like you can't make chicken soup out of chicken shit. It's very difficult to do. You know what I'm saying? So, right? And like we want to blame
you want shitty soup, right?
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, literally, exactly. So, we could blame the players, like quarterback. We could blame the coaches. We could blame the GMO. You gotta have it. You gotta have O-line. They've had issues with this O-line for as long as I can remember. Ever since like they won their last Super Bowl, they have not figured out this offensive line for whatever reason, and they've tried to invest it. They've drafted, signed players, done everything they possibly could to even bring somebody in that's remotely comparable. And Andrew Thomas is an elite tackle. Like he's very good, but we all know one offensive lineman is not going to change your fortune. And when you already have subpar talent outside of Malik Neighbors, outside of at the time Saquon Barkley before him, you're not going to do much on the offensive end, which is why you run a vanilla scheme, because you're like, hey, I can't even run a freaking slant pass for 5 yards without having my quarterback getting smacked around, right? So it's tough to blame Daboll. It's tough to blame some of these players. I do agree. Joe Shane did not have a good offseason, but to be fair, if we had to just put a blanket statement on the Giants, in theory, if you had to say this, okay, listen, my team just got to the playoffs, I'm going to choose the quarterback over a running back who I believe I can plug in and play. Like that's the easiest position on the offense to plug in and play. You get the best out of a player at running back coming out of college, right? I think most of us agree with that. The mileage is not there, all that stuff. It's easily to plug in, and their job is just to get yardage.
Yep.
Can't do much with an offensive line that lets you get tackled in the backfield. And again, this situation is a little bit different because Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. And while I don't think he's as bad as maybe we all seen in New York, he's also not as good as everyone likes to say in the NFL circles either, right? Like, he's not a very good quarterback. He's a backup quarterback, I think, at best. But again, I think we all agree they're dog shit. It's a terrible organization at the moment. And they're going to listen, they do some things right, but it is just really tough when you can't figure out the offensive line at all. It all starts with them. They're the closest to the ball. They get the offense going. If you can't get that straight, you have no idea how to evaluate your quarterback, how to evaluate a receiver or running back. So until they get that right, it's going to be more of the same for them, unfortunately.
I will say, you said about Daniel Jones, he's most likely going to be the starter at Indy. How bad is Anthony Richardson?
Oh my
if
God.
Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback?
Is he injured?
No, he sucks. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Well, my friend is a Colts. My friend's a Colts fan, and they've been like really, really eyeing in on what they're trying to do with Richardson and Daniel Jones and stuff like that.
Richardson, honestly, they've just done a really bad job on how they handled him. They should have known that he was a project coming out of college. Taking him at, what did they take him? Number 4.
They took him at like number 4.
They took him 4. They took him 4.
Really bad. Like, you just put a target on his back for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't going to survive till the second round. He was going to go somewhere in the first. You wanted him at 4. You got to have the patience for it.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in Daniel Jones, you said great backup quarterback, but just don't give him the time to develop. And ever since that moment where he tapped out from that game because he ran the ball hard and he was like, I need to play to take a breather. And they were like, all right, this guy's doesn't have the mental capacity. Like, bro, he's tired. Calm down. Like, geez, like you're the quarterback. You can't be doing that.
You just needed a breather, man. You just needed a breather.
Listen, look, you can't do that as a quarterback.
You can't do that
at
as
the
a
same
quarterback.
time. The kid's 20, 21 years old. And, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people look, he hasn't played well at all.
No.
And like not at all, but like 21-year-old kid who's got this whole city, this whole franchise thrusted upon him when you've had quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck before him, and some really, really just like
it's also expectations, right? How you expect, like what's the game plan? This is why you need to have a veteran quarterback present when you're drafting a rookie, and that veteran has to play some games so the rookie can actually learn, like i.e. Alex Smith, right?
Yeah.
Well, they had Gardner. They had Gardner
Alex Smith with
they did have Gardner
Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
It took like a whole year, like almost. So like this, like Andy Reid's done this with Doug Peterson and back in the day with Donovan McNabb. Right? Like you got to do stuff like that, man. I feel like they just rush these guys in, and at 21, like you just want to be a star, but like you don't necessarily know all the nuances of the game. Right, the college to the NFL is much different too.
I think they just expect everyone to be Joe Burrow. That's the problem. Not everyone's Joe Burrow.
Right, not everybody has that
automatically
talent.
Translate that. Yeah, I mean,
right.
And just as you guys said, it takes time to develop a quarterback, regardless of where in the draft that you get that quarterback from. It takes time, and you need the right infrastructure. And one of the biggest mantras that we preach on NFL Masala to help the best foundations of a team, you build through the trenches. Have the teams like the Colts and the Giants have done that? No shit, they have not done that.
Well,
but
to the Colts credit, this offseason they have put an emphasis on building their offensive line. They have put an emphasis on trying to get talent on the defensive side of the ball. And again, I only know as much about the Colts because my friend's a Colts fan, so like I listen to him all the time about it. Listen, it's tough. It's also tough to say, we got to develop a quarterback when like your job is on the line. And in Indianapolis at the time, Chris Ballard's job is and was on the line at the time.
How is he went a job?
I think he's good. I think that people give him a lot of shit. I think think about it. We have Anthony Richardson at this quarterback position. They've had all these guys at quarterback, and there were still 7, 8, 9-win team. They were a drop pass a year and a half ago from winning their division against the Texans, right? Like with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. So it's not like the roster is bad. I just think the quarterback play has not been consistent. And listen, if AR somehow figures it out, the talent that the kid's got, it's as good as anybody. You know,
Yeah,
it's
he's just another Josh Allen.
Right.
He can run the ball. He's a truck when he runs. May not have the same arms talent or the arm strength of a Josh Allen, but you got a Jonathan Taylor in the back. You got Josh Downs on one side. You got
Josh Downs, Donnie Mitchell. Now they have Tyler Warren. Like they got
AD
players.
Mitchell.
And besides, and we've also talked about that on the AFC South podcast, which is why you should follow the NFL Masala for more.
Yeah, no, we got off track here about that.
But,
sorry.
Good.
Pete never got to say his part about the Giants. You talked about Daniel Jones, and he's an idiot.
Yeah, like how we transitioned from there. But Daniel Jones was one of the pieces that was like part of this shitty Giants offense. But anything you want to add about the Giants, Pete? Like your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they just mismanaged their roster, and you guys all made good points. They're actually wasting Brian Dable's talent. Brian Dable's the guy who developed Jalen Hurts in college, and he did things with Tom Brady, and then moving on to Josh Allen. Like the Josh Allen that you see is because of Brian Dable, because he had those 3 years with Brian Dable, right? 2 or 3 years. And I feel like Brian Dable hasn't had a player to develop, and he thought that player might have been Daniel Jones. I don't know who made the decision on signing him. It's probably the GM, but they should have kept Saquon. I'm glad we got Saquon and, we won a Super Bowl. But if they wanted to build a team, or you wanted to build a team around the good player that you have, right? Yeah. And then get the quarterback. I think if they don't figure it out this year with Russell and Jameis,
we'll be getting to that right now.
He's gonna be looking for a new job pretty soon.
I just hope they take their time. I mean, not only with Russell and Jameis. Listen, they drafted Jackson Dart, right? They believe in the future. So
they'll definitely talk. Yeah, they'll definitely bring
if anyone, and you gotta. I know Ruckchuck, you're probably gonna talk about this. They did draft pretty decent, right? I mean, not great, but they did get some pieces that look like they are building blocks to getting back to that giant football that they used to be.
Right.
But they just got to take their time, dude. They keep expecting, and it sucks when you're in a division with the Cowboys, Commanders, and Eagles, where their teams, basically 3 teams competing for a Lombardi almost every year. Right. I mean, Commanders up and down, except this past year, Jaden Daniels. But now the Commanders' window is just literally blown open because of how great Jaden Daniels has been.
Yeah.
They signed a lot of good players. Dan Quinn's a damn good coach. I mean, we're going to talk about him later, but they just got to take their time, man. It sucks.
But definitely
they just got to.
Yeah, right. I mean, sometimes, you can be great because other teams are great. You got to just wait your turn. Wow. And the best thing to do at that time is build the offensive line. Build the quarterback. Build everything. And then when those teams get a little, tired, that's when you come up, Yeah. And that's basically what the Eagles did, in those years, when they were struggling, they were just building their offensive line and the defensive line, and then finally they got their turn. I
mean, from 2012 to 2017, right? I mean, you guys, the NFC East was flopping through each team, but you guys would have a pick, and you'd get either Jason Kelsey, you got Lane Johnson, you built, and you didn't have to pay top dollar for. I mean, you drafted Carson Wentz, you paid him top dollar. We saw what happened there, Jalen Hurts. I mean, but you still built through it, right? You got Becton later and won a trophy with him. I mean.
That's even true for the Cowboys teams of the 90s, right? And also the Giants teams of the mid 2000s, right?
Even those early Washington teams when they were winning their Super Bowl.
And that's how you win, man. Sometimes it's hard to win when everyone else is good. You got to kind of wait your turn and then get good.
And the thing is, not everyone is
GM, good coach, and you need patience. You need an owner that says, "Okay, I'm willing to wait a couple more years. Let's see what this team can do."
Yeah, not everyone is Joe Burrow, right? Cincinnati has the worst offensive line, but not everyone. Not every team has a skill player like Jamar Chase, right? Who can get open no matter what. No one's got a deep threat like T. Higgins, right? You don't got a quarterback like Joe Burrow who can escape, who's smart, right? You can have god-awful top front. I mean, even their Super Bowl run, they were still a pretty good offensive line. That truly tells you, right? They lost it. Joe Burrow got hurt the next season. This past year, they scored 38 points because of how great Joe Burrow is, but he's probably one of the top 5 quarterbacks sacked all year, right? You can build talent. If the offensive line's not good, look at Miami. Their offensive line is garbage. Tua dies every other day, like literally. Like you've got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but what are you going to do with those talents? If
I'm
you
shocked
can't
that I
protect
still want to
Tua?
play football
Yeah.
with that offensive
Literally.
line.
It's still shocking, but like as much as we like to continue, we got to move on with this.
Sorry.
Hang on with me on this one. But with this being said, what did the Giants do this offseason? So they basically signed 21 players. Thank you, Spot Track, for the list. I'm not gonna go. You know what? We might as well go through some of them. One of the biggest contracts they got was Paulson Adebo, cornerback from the Saints for a 3-year, $54 million. They actually bolstered their safety option by signing Javon Holland from the Dolphins, 3-year, $45.3 million. Then they re-signed Darius Slayton to a 3-year, $36 million contract. Then they brought Chauncey Golston from the Cowboys for a 3-year, $18 million. But no. What's up, guys? This is your boy Russell Wilson. I know I just left the Steelers right here, but I'm here in Giants country. We're right here ready to make East Rutherford the best place. Giants country. Let's roll. Okay. That guy's got to get out of here. 1 year, $10.5 million. And they also brought back famous Jameis Winston, which I think was like the best move they could have ever done. So a lot of PR for that. I'm happy for Jameis Winston. I'm guessing 30-30, another 30-30 season for him. 2-year, $8 million. Not a bad thing. And then from the Ravens, they got Chris Broad, linebacker. So looking at depth, and a couple of and I think like that was and also I think y'all might remember some names. Then the last two signings I thought was like okay but not bad. They brought Broncos wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey for a 1 year, $1.2 million, and Kavon Wallace. The ghost of Kavon Wallace is officially with the Giants from the Seahawks, 1 year, $1.7 million. And the players that left: Azeez Ojulari, he's with Philly. Patrick Johnson, outside linebacker, with Philly. And then Drew Lock goes back to the Seahawks, I think, for a 2 year, $5 million. Jason Pinnock, safety, goes to the Niners. Isaiah Simmons, 1 year, $1.3 million to the Packers. Tim Boyle, backup QB, he goes to the Titans. But I mean, these are like pretty a decent free agency, probably like 1 year rentals. They're still trying to evaluate what their identity on both offense and defense is. But their draft, we got to talk about their draft. At pick, so what did they do? Pick round 1, pick number 3. They went with the best player. I think the best defensive player here was Abdul Carter, edge from Penn State. You put him in a front with Brian Burns, Kevon Thibodeau, Sexy Dexy Lawrence, and Bobby Okereke. That front seven is going to harass every team. Like that pass rush is going to be insane. And I'm not yet done about the pass rush, because not only to bolster the defense, on the 3rd round, first pick, I think Pete, Asif, and I hated this move, but it was so good for the Giants. They were able to get Darius Alexander. I was so pissed that he is with the Giants. And you're adding, if you wanted to add more, like he could still add pass rush to it. He's a great run defender. Back at Toledo, 26 tackles at or behind the line of scrimmage on designed rushes since the start of 2023. 5th most in the FBS. This will help a Giants team who apparently was finished 27th run and defense last year, according to ESPN. And they also managed to get Corey Black, last round pick from Oklahoma State. Just another backup to a cornerback room, especially with the Paulson Adebo signing. But what did they do on offense? They traded in the first round for pick number 25. They were able to land Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. I would say he's more of your traditional gunslinger out from inside the pocket. Great arm. You saw what he was able to do in a high-powered offense under Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. And he can escape the pressure. RPOs is going to be the name of the game. Throws a big ball. But of course, he's probably going to sit for like at least a year or two behind Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. I think that's what the right move is, keeping redshirting him, and also to add more offensive firepower and the trenches. Cam Scatterbo, in the fourth round, with the third pick of the fourth round, the running back from Arizona. You put him behind Tyron Tracy, Devin Singletary, and then you get Scatterbo in. You know what? My beat the dome moment. Scatterbo is going to easily take the number one. It's going to be running back number one by the end of the training camp. But by the start of the season, he's too damn good. I saw what he did at Arizona State, especially the Big 12 and the Big 12 and that one game and that one playoff game against UT in the college football playoffs. Definitely a great pick. And then of course, following that, you reinforce with the guard. Again, taking an interior offensive O-line in Marcus Mabel, guard you. You can actually compete for a starting job against Greg Van Rotten, currently the starter on the right side, but he joins a good mix with Joshua Azedu, Jake Kubis, and Evan Neal. We're talking about the same Evan Neal that was drafted in 2022, expected to be like the highest, like one of the top offensive line, but who's been disappointing. And it just shows that maybe Brian Daboll does not have faith, or like Evan Neal is turning. We don't want to use the B word yet, but it's not looking too bright for him. And last but not least, they got in round 7, still the first round 7 pick. They were able to get Thomas Fedone, the second tight end from Nebraska. More like a tight. He's basically considered the Y tight end. But again, he does have an excessive injury history, especially with the ACL. He was apparently once a top recruit ahead of Brock Bowers, so there is some time. I think maybe he's going to be behind Theo Johnson, but if he can be healthy and he can gain more confidence in that route running, Giants could use something that we've been preaching for some time: 2 tight end sets. What do y'all think about their draft class?
All right, I guess I'll go first on this one, just because for the sake of the flow of the show. Listen, I think they have a lot of needs in regards to how they have to build out their whole roster. Right, you're not going to fix this roster in one off season. I think what they've done in their last 2 drafts have been the right moves. I don't think it's necessarily been anything that you would say is incorrect to do. Like, you can only do so much with what you got, and getting rid of Daniel Jones, getting rid of Barkley, and in return you flip that into guys like Tyron Tracy. You get Abdul Carter. You try to get your quarterback of the future in Jackson Dart. You get Darius Alexander, who is I think a quality player too. It's just they're doing the right things. It's just their picks haven't hit. Right? If some of these guys hit, you might have a more respectable product. So, I know we're going to get into some of the coaching changes I'm sure they've, made with like hiring a new offensive line coach. So hopefully that changes something. But, this is not going to take 1 year. It's going to take probably a couple of years for them to get back on the map and be relatively respectable, especially if Jackson Dart hits and figures it out. He's got a cannon of an arm. Like the guy can fling the football. It's not like he can't do it. It's just a matter of, can he actually play quarterback and play the position? Mm-hmm. That's yet to be seen. But we've talked about it before. It ain't Brian Daboll's fault. We all think he's a quality coach. So it's just a matter of talent. I think they've done the right thing. We just got to wait and see for them.
100% correct. I would say, this is kind of the year where you go trying to win as much as games as possible with Russell at the helm, right? And if it doesn't work out, that's the time you need to put in Jackson Dart. Is it Jackson Dart?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jackson Dart.
Yeah. And I think that's one way. And then if you see something good in that, then you keep Brian Daboll's job, right? If not, both of them are gone, and there's a new coaching hire and back to the same mess again, right? So the best thing for the Giants is to keep Brian Dable, and I think Jackson Dart might be the quarterback of their future. It gives me he got a little bit of Jalen Hurts in him, and he's got an incredible arm. So yeah, I think that's the direction they should go. But I don't know what the Jets are gonna do.
You're getting
they like they said. I mean, the Giants are the Giants, right? They're struggling. You know, they gotta figure their shit out. And the thing is just takes time. And every team goes through it. It's just funny because they're in our division. They take the longest. They're still there, so it's one less team to worry about. We're not like the NFC West where every single team is great, and you just if you're fourth in your division, it's because there are three other significantly better teams, right? Or the NFC North. So I mean, it is what it is. I think, like you said, Pete, Dable's not. I hope Dable stays. You did mention though. Win as much games with Russell, great, but then put Jackson Dart if it doesn't go. I think you just fucking throw Jameis Winston there, dude. Just win. Like, Dable should just play for his life. Let Jackson Dart, because the moment you put Jackson Dart in, you can't pull him out. Like, we've seen the tragedy happen where you put a rookie in and then you pull him out and then you put him back in, and it's a mental confidence.
Yeah.
It only worked with Bryce Young because I guess he just needed a day. I mean, it took Andy Dalton, to get injured to put Bryce Young back in, but you don't want to do that. So take your time. I don't give a shit how long you take, dude. Just do whatever you get. Like stay irrelevant. But as a Giants fan, you gotta wait for these other teams, like the top three teams, they're gonna get older. They're gonna have to let go of players. You just gotta hope your draft picks hit and they do their thing. But just gotta wait and see with the Giants.
Yeah, I think guys, well said on this one. Again, this is going to be another season of growing pains. But they did have a couple of changes in the coaching staff. Apparently, Marco Manuel is the new secondary coach, defensive passing game coordinator. Jeff Barnes will also coach quarterbacks. Chad Hall will serve as the assistant QB coach. Troy Brown is going to be the offensive assistant as part of the NFL Minority Coaching Fellowship. And Steve Ferentz and Grant Morgan have been hired as defensive assistants. So I'm seeing a lot more. Apparently, I've seen from what I've noticed, it's been a lot more of promotions within. But it's they're still keeping the faith with Brian Dable, but they did let go of defensive backs coach and defensive pass game coordinator Jerome Henderson, safeties coach Michael Trier, and running backs coach Joel Thomas, who actually left to join the Saints, and Kellen Moore. Then again, I think you guys said it, this is going to be a season of growing pains. For the Giants, don't expect any major changes. Yes, maybe you win more than 3 games, but I doubt it. And I'm gonna say until we see the growth of Jackson Dart, the Giants are still going to have, and this is my beat the dole moment right here. The Giants are going to have at least 2 to 3 more years of losing seasons until they figure out what the hell is going on with their front office, number one. And number 2, is Jackson Dart going to be the future? And as an NFL fan, I hope for both. But as an Eagles fan, I just want them to burn. That's all. I'm joking about that. But I'll say from a prediction, Giants, unfortunately, their ceiling or their bottom floor is 3-14 again. And I have
3-14.
I have them going 3-14 again.
I got them winning over 8 games.
Yeah, I mean 3-14 is the bottom. They can go up to 8 games, but I don't have that much expectations for the Giants, so I'm giving them 3 games at least. And my Shandar Player of the Year will go to a Mr. Malik Neighbors. I think he hits 1,500 receiving yards.
Okay. I guess I can go next. So with the Giants, they have a really hard schedule. They opened the season versus the Commanders and the Cowboys and the Chiefs, the Chargers, Saints, Eagles,
Oh
Broncos, Eagles.
God, that's
And
a
then,
cover.
Eagles, then Niners, then Bears, Packers, Lions, Patriots, Commanders, Vikings. So looking at this, I am more inclined to say that they're going to be, again, another losing season. I think they might they're able to pull off, barring injuries, things like that, maybe pull off 5 games. You gotta imagine that Russell Wilson can win you a couple games, and I think, Pete, that's why you're putting them a little bit higher than the 3 games. And
I think the wins are going to come towards the end of the season. More wins, and they're going to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, and
it'll still be a losing season, but more wins.
Yeah, and if they put Jackson Dart in and he starts winning these games, like if he beats the Patriots and Commanders, Vikings, Raiders, I mean and then the Cowboys, I mean you get a great intro into your next season. Hopefully that I'm on the fence of wanting them to win games because I think Joe Shane should go, or not Joe Shane, right? The GM.
Yeah, Joe Shane.
Go. The problem is if you lose, Brian Dable's gone because they're just going to take him down too. The new GM's always going to take, or he's going to give 1 year to Brian Dable, and they're going to fire him. So I mean, it's a lose-lose for Brian Dable, but it is what it is. Sucks for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys summed it up pretty nicely. I think the NFL gods really want the Giants to have taken Archie Manning. Or Arch Manning, right? Like I think they wanted a Manning to be in New York, and they took Jackson Dart the year before. This schedule's brutal. I'm looking at it right now, and like
it's awful.
That is a rough go.
How is it 3 wins?
How is this a 4th place team schedule? This is like a 1st place team. This is a division winner kind of schedule.
No, this is a brutal schedule. This is a brutal schedule.
And
I didn't look at the schedule before I said that, but now I'm looking at it like, you guys are right.
Yeah.
They have like 3-4 rounds of gauntlet within it. And like the fact that you just broke it down for Abhishek, I was like, okay, when does their gauntlet start? And
it starts from the beginning to the end. It is literally a gauntlet.
Dude, NFC
throw
East
in
and
the whole season.
NFC North. Like that is brutal. That is brutal.
It is
brutal
insane.
Schedule. And then like
and
the
AFC West
and the AFC West and the AFC West, and then you sprinkle in a little New England, who I think is going to be good this year. So that is just really rough sledding. And I think Giant fans understand this year is basically a year just to figure out, do you have something in Jackson Dart? Do you have something in some of these draft picks or not? And then you see what you do in next year's draft, who are projected to have more talent than this one. So
yeah,
we'll see what it is with them.
I definitely think so too. So with that being said, now concludes the Giants, and now we get to talk about. Now this is the reason why we NFL Masala bring in guests, because they probably know a lot more of what's happening with their team than us. But then again, this is why we have Mr. Abhishek Ramani. Tell us about what happened with the Cowboys. And by the way, the floor is all yours. This is an open, friendly space. We are here to support you. Remember, you are loved. You are cared. We're here for you.
You did say that sometimes you may not know what other teams happen, right? But it's different here because everyone knows what's going on for no reason. All the internal, the external, the who takes a shit when Jerry wants to say it. It just happens. Where do I start? 2024 season. I mean, obviously, get to a great start as any Dallas Cowboys season starts. You see the connection with Dak and CD light it up again. For the memes, they brought back Zeke Elliott. It had, but we did have our struggles last year. Starting with, I know we beat the Giants to open the season, if I'm correct, and then we ran through, I believe it's Baltimore. I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull this up right here.
This year you basically did America a favor by beating the Browns, led by Deshaun Watson.
The Browns, sorry, the Browns. Yes, we took down the Browns. Thank God. I will say it's crazy because I was with the belief that we were going to lose to the Browns, because I mean, let's be real, they had very high expectations walking into the season with Deshaun Watson coming back, but beat the Cowboys, or we beat the Browns, and then started for some reason Derek Carr just decided to be great, right? Offense, well, the Cowboys offense was treading water. I think the defense just, I don't know, like they were just poof. Like Trayvon Diggs got hurt. Deron Bland started off hurt, the guy who literally capped off the previous season with setting the record for the most pick sixes in a season. I mean, had a great season leading in, and then I think he tore his knee up, or he hurt his hamstring or something, and he was out. A broken hand. So lost to the Saints, lost to the Ravens. Stupid play calling. I mean, the Cowboys are just the Cowboys. They found a way to just piss you off no matter what. And then comes the Falcons game. Or sorry, let's start with the Lions game. 47-9. Don't even score a damn touchdown. You have offensive tackles lining up in receiver mode, trying to catch touchdowns. They clown you in your own stadium, and you cap it off by getting clowned by Brock Purdy and George Kittle only, because Brian Ayuk was gone. If I'm correct, Debo was hurt. Christian McCaffrey was gone, and they still beat you. Sums up how trash this organization was. Then leads to the Falcons. Kirk Cousins, before he got benched, apparently wanted to go ape shit on the Cowboys. And that's where the season fell apart, because Dak Prescott then tore up his knee or his hamstring, and the season was just a bust at that point. There's not much to say about this team. The Mike McCarthy experiment, he had his moments. I think he was just a product, and I always say this to everyone. He was just a product of Aaron Rodgers. He's just had a name because of how great Aaron Rodgers was in Green Bay. He took a year off. Cowboys offense was great. Kellen Moore, I think, was the sole engine running in those previous years when he was the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys. McCarthy wanted to take over. The offense said we were going to run the ball more, but we signed Zeke Elliott. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you can't do anything with that. It's just it was a down season. I mean, injuries hooked us. I think the one bright spot, which I was very happy to see, was DeMarvion Overshown. He was a great player, great linebacker. Unfortunately, tore up his knee. And I saw a video of him running down the field at practice, and it looks like he might be ahead of recovery. So it'll be exciting to see him come back. I think he's a great cornerstone piece of that defense. But season ended. McCarthy's gone. You would expect, hey, Jerry, it's about time to find a nice coach. Enter your in-house promotion, Brian Schottenheimer. Shotty apparently got some new vibes, has got the new, the teams. He's apparently got this new culture in there that they're trying to build. And I think they're trying to build with this young system, or try to get someone in that's young. I feel like we see that a lot with teams. They try to bring in like a Sean McVay kind of guy who is young, who's probably more relatable to these players, because these players are all remotely, I want to say, 15, 20 years difference in age, right? Mike McCarthy that's why Bill Belichick probably doesn't have a job. He's 70 goddamn 8 years old. Like, no one can connect with him in today's world. So I just think it's just going to be another mid-season for the Cowboys. We're going to start high. We're going to falter. Like Stephen A. says, he loves watching the rise only for it to crash down during the holidays. It's what can go wrong will go wrong. I mean, anything that he says. But, the biggest storyline is, hey, I have a question for some fans here. When you guys have a really good player, what do you guys do?
I believe.
Sorry, let me say one more caveat part.
Yes.
They're really good.
Mm-hmm.
They're all pros. They're Pro Bowlers, and they are on their final year of their contract, or close to their final year of their contract. What do you guys usually do? What does Harry Roseman usually do? I'm really curious.
Is it? Can I answer to what is pay them early as soon as possible and extend them?
Make them happy.
Make them happy.
Make them happy. Pay them as much as you can, and don't overpay them. Don't wait till the last minute. Take care of your players, and then usually works out.
Yeah.
Asif, do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, I know we would say pay him early if you're a good organization, but if you're Micah Parsons, you're saying, hey,
take all your time.
Take as much time as you want, bro.
As long as you want, baby.
Yeah, man, take as long as you want. The dollar just goes up and up and up. So
every single day.
I'm sorry to say this, but like watching the Micah Parsons deckable, like I want to feel sorry for the dude, but like what he said on his messages, like the fact that the Jerry Jones is not won't reach out to his agent to get a contract done.
Right.
I think like right now the ball is in Micah Parsons. No, I think like Micah Parsons has the clear advantage of this one. He clearly told like, "Hey, this is what's happening," and then and what mind boggles me is like Jerry Jones is like so archaic. Like I believe, I swear to God, at Frisco where my family is originally from, there is a freaking Lazarus pit that's keeping Jerry Jones alive. I don't know how the hell they get away with this shit, but apparently it's making him realize that, oh, we're so stuck in the 90s and we want to go play the old Cowboys method where I believe that we're going to win another championship like we did in 95, 96. Hell, Barry Switzer's the best coach of all time. I mean, give me a fucking break. Like, what the hell is going on? Like,
I don't think the goal is to win anything. I think the goal is to stay relevant for the Cowboys.
I think
the goal is to make money as much money as possible. That's what Jerry Jones' goal. If he wants to win, he'll take a back seat. He'll hire a good coach, and he'll shut the fuck up. He had Jimmy Johnson in the 90s. Okay, he ran him out of town, right? And if
Bill Parcells in the mid 2000s.
Probably winning 2 or 3 more Super Bowls in the 90s all the way to the 2000s. And Jerry Jones don't want to really win. He just wants to control. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's showing how much he loves control by talking down for these players in press conferences. And you know what I mean? You're just putting yourself on notice. Now, no one's going to really want to play for you. Players coming from the draft, players coming from free agency. No one's going to want to play for the Cowboys if you have this type of attitude. Like, it's time to retire, man.
Let's be real. Let's be real. If you make $10 billion, who's going to want to fucking retire? Let's be real, starting off. Yeah. But I will say, you're right, Pete. You're right. I've been alive for 29 years. I've been a Cowboys fan pretty much all of my life. I have not once seen teams go through their ups and downs. Everyone knows no one can be irrelevant. The New England Patriots did it, Broncos did it, everyone, Packers, Steelers. The Cowboys are just consistently average, right? Every year they're just average. And they make so much noise. Jerry has got the media by its balls, and anytime he says something, it's headlines, right? But people make a big deal of it because they're the Dallas Cowboys. They're America's team. They're the most valued team. They're called America's team. Do I believe they're America's team? Absolutely not, because the Patriots are probably America's team more than the Cowboys are. But they have that name. They don't want to win. Jerry, because like you said, if they wanted to win, they would have hired a better coach. He would have hired a damn GM, get his stupid son out of there. Because the problem is, if Jerry dies, Steven is literally him. That's the problem. It is him. Because Steven, while he wants to act like he's the cooler guy in this whole entire thing, they play good cop, bad cop. Jerry's probably being the bad cop right now. They're both just stupid cops. That's the problem here. They both walk in acting like they know Micah. Micah has said from the beginning, David Mulugeta is going to handle my damn negotiations. Jerry's being really smart because he knows Mulugeta, or I might be pronouncing his name wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
He is the one who swindled the damn Browns with Deshaun Watson. Let's be real, right? It was a damn swindle. It was the swindle of the century. And he's a great agent. And Jerry wants to try to backdoor this entire thing by using the power of friendship, by the power of loyalty, saying, hey, Micah, I know your price is at, what is it today? At 40, right? Probably 40 mil right now?
Probably. Yeah, especially with with the latest extension.
TJ Watt's the last one, so he got
TJ
what,
Watt,
38.
yeah.
So we're talking Micah's at 40. Hey, Micah, why don't you take 35? Take 32. You know, I'll get you sponsorships. You could do this. You know, you can make more money on the side. But like, we want to build a team. You know, these players are smart. I'm glad that Micah's not doing this. It's about time someone steps up to Jerry Jones and tells him to shut the fuck up, right? I mean, Micah, see, Dak was not going to deal with it, right? Dak had an arm's distance away from Jerry. Got paid. Let's be real. He still got paid no matter what. Got his $60 million contract and everything. But, like, he didn't go out in public saying, oh, you know, Jerry's got to do this or I'm going to demand a trade. Dak's not confrontational like that. CeeDee Lamb said, yes, I deserve to get paid. And, you know, obviously Jerry. The problem here is that Jerry fucking wastes the last minute. And like you said, Asa, Micah's the winner in all of this. He is going to get paid top dollar no matter if it's with the Cowboys, if it's with the Eagles, if it's with the Giants, if it's with anyone. He is fucking getting paid. He's not going to the Eagles. Fuck off.
No. I'm saying he's not even going to the Eagles. I think we're happy with our situation, which I think Asif and Pete will definitely talk about later on. We do not need a Micah Parsons. I think we've been doing pretty damn good without him.
I mean, I having a Micah Parsons isn't bad. Let's be real.
Don't get me wrong.
You're not giving
wrong with Micah.
We just don't got the money to pay him right now. Like,
what I meant was that no matter where he goes, he's getting paid.
Yeah.
Whether it be Cleveland, I know Myles Garrett's trying to get him to get actually ask for the this trade request. I mean, I don't know how much it's gonna I think it's just another Myles Garrett. Right. Myles Garrett's trade request was a lot more believable, in my opinion, because it was the Cleveland Browns. They were trash. He wanted to win. Got paid $40 million, kept quiet. The Cowboys they're trash. They're not Cleveland Brown trash, right?
What do y'all think about the Rams? Rams might be a good spot for Micah. They're building a young defense. They got money, too.
I mean, they do.
Got draft picks.
I think
they're not trading Micah, man.
They're not.
They're not.
They're gotta be stupid to trade Micah, man.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think like with that, the Cowboys do have the franchise tag ability to go like, yeah, they're just gonna place it on you for a while.
It's a lose-lose on either way because Micah is. I don't know how you want to say it. Each side has their own control. The Cowboys have the control of the player, right? Unfortunately, I don't want to make it sound like the way I made it sound, but like they control the rights to the player, where they will franchise tag him, they'll franchise tag him, he becomes a free agent in 3 years. Yes, that dollar is going to double. I think there's a percentage that gets added up every time you franchise tag someone, but they have that control for the next 3 to 4 years. Yeah. Micah, as each year goes out, his price just goes up and up and up, right? You got to sign these players. You got to sign these top guys early. You should never have paid Dak Prescott $60 million. You should have paid him when the rate was at 45, 50. You should have paid CeeDee Lamb when the rate was at, I think he's at what? Oh, he's at 33 now. Should have paid him when the rate was at the 28, 30. Not saying he doesn't deserve the money. What I mean is the timing of it all. Yeah. You're sitting in a situation where you don't want to pay a guy $45 million, but you have to. He's Micah freaking Parsons. He transformed this defense. The day he got drafted, stepped foot on that field, this defense was something else. So you lost, and then we'll go into the roster moves that they made. They lost DeMarcus Lawrence. They lost a lot of pieces, on that.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Do you mind if I also talk about like some of the stats like from that Cowboys defense, especially when Micah Parsons was playing for those 15 games? Like in those 13 games, 12 sacks, 12 forced fumbles in 13 games, 43 combined tackles. And don't forget, like before that injury, Deron Bland, 41 tackles and ranked highly among quarterback, corners, and interceptions. I think. Cavante, and then like another part, like their defense was 23rd in DVOA. Except they were great at generating pressure, but they were 29th in run defensive DVOA.
They don't have bricks in their pockets. That's their problem. Their defensive line is soft AF. Osa Odigizua is the only best piece of that entire defensive like line outside of, I mean, we're talking Micah Parsons, but like Micah goes from the edge to linebacker, however way you want to play him. But their defensive line, is soft as hell, charming soft. You can run through them. Anyone can run through them. I mean, they beat the Giants because they're the Giants. I mean, it is what it is. But I don't know. Do you have more stats you want to say to make this even more depressing?
I don't know if I should talk more about this. I think I mean, like if you want to, like if I'm looking more into DVOA, like against the run they were 29th, but pass defense they were actually really good. 15 DVOA, basically mid range or top 16 at least. Especially when you have like with Trayvon Diggs like sitting half of the season, as long as they had Deron Bland on one side, that defense was that secondary was pretty decent.
Well, they didn't have both for a while. That was the problem. Too.
But even with that, I thought they did pretty good. I like base stat wise. I thought they were okay with it.
I think stats are very misleading in this point because everyone just fucking ran the ball on them. Who wants to throw if you can get 500 yards rushing? literally, why would you want to? Like, why? Like, I don't know who they played. The Saints. Sorry, if Kamara can run up and down the field, why would Derek Carr need to throw the ball? He still threw the ball because he has to throw the ball, right? But they did what they had to do. They released Mike McCarthy. They kind of revamped the entire coaching staff. They brought in, I think, a great hiring was Matt Eberflus as defensive coordinator. He's a really good defensive coordinator. Head coach, he's garbage, but he's a great he's a good defensive coordinator. I think will be good in building the blocks back up. I forget who our defensive coordinator was last year. Worth forgetting about because he was that trash. But
I have it. Defensive coordinator last year it was Mike Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer. Yes, I forgot. Reunion tour. But it is what it is. The Cowboys are just the Cowboys. Jerry's just going to be Jerry no matter what happens. He made a comment saying Micah's got to want to get paid. Bro, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Micah has to want to get paid, bro. That like everyone wants to get paid. Are you that stupid? Like literally, bro. Like whatever. But as we could see on the screen here, they did some. I think re-signing Kavontae Turpin. He had a pretty great year being the returner. He made that big play versus the Commanders to make one of the best games of the season.
That was like one of their best. Yeah, that was like a really fun game to watch.
Osa Odighizuwa, I think, was a great signing. He's a good defensive cornerstone. And Dante Fowler, yeah, he's old, but hometown boy Solomon Thomas. I'm from Coppell, Texas, so Solomon being back in Dallas is really cool.
Oh, Solomon Thomas from Coppell?
Yeah, he's from Coppell. So I've known him since 5th grade. So I went to school with him.
Let's go.
So it's crazy. So it's nice to see him back in Dallas or, play for the Cowboys. And,
nice.
But again, as you can see here, they're free agencies. They're garbage. They don't do anything. I will tip my cap off to Will McClay because he drafts like a genius. He's got, the Cowboys are really good in drafting. Someone made a comment earlier. No one wants to come play for the Cowboys. That's true in free agency because no one wants to deal with this shit. But in the draft, they draft them and then they don't want to stay because they don't want to pay them. So, they just use the draft and they do draft really well. I will say Tyler Booker coming in, replacing Zach Martin was it's just building through the trenches. And while the Cowboys are still a contending team or a contender, in a very stacked NFC, you still want to maintain that offensive line. You don't want to let it go. It's what the Eagles did. Like you guys lost Jason Kelsey and you still brought in someone. I forget who your center was.
We drafted Cam Jurgens.
Yes, Jurgens.
2022 second round. And
so you guys still have it rolling. You don't lose a beat. And I think that's a great, pick. Jaden Blue, I'm really excited. Being a Texas Longhorn fan that I am, he was really fun to watch. I've heard many jokes about him being lazy. So it's just like, bro, come on already. Like we're barely a month away from the season. You're already labeled lazy. But the Cowboys just had a Cowboy season. I think injuries played a big factor in this. Dak being hurt, CD being in and out. The running game, the biggest problem was the running game, of course. No solid running back. They did sign Miles Sanders. Hey, because apparently Miles Sanders wasn't a big deal in Philly, right? He didn't get the ball enough. So he wanted to sign with or he didn't get enough carries. He wanted to sign with the enemy, apparently. So probably trash, but it is what it is. Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, they've got a decent. I think they still have Rico Dowell in the backfield.
I think Rico Dowdle,
or not Rico Dowell, Deuce Vaughn is still back there.
Yeah, Deuce Vaughn is still there.
So, but as you can see, there's those
a decent running back room.
It's a decent running back room with
yeah.
Jaden Blue. They have a decent team. Again, the receiving core, biggest signing, how can I forget, is George Pickens, right? The biggest trade that I think
was a good pickup.
It's a good pickup, but we're going to have the same conversation next year. Do you want to pay George Pickens? Because George Pickens is a free agent. This could potentially be a one-year rental because he is on the final year of his contract. The Steelers did not want to pay him because they just paid DK Metcalf, right? I honestly thought that was a really stupid trade on their part. You should have just kept DK and George Pickens if you knew Aaron Rodgers was going to come. But who knew Aaron Rodgers? Just Aaron Rodgers. They probably never knew. But picking up George Pickens is going to be exciting. I think that opens up the offense a little bit more. It doesn't put all the focus on CeeDee Lamb. You get back Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson was hurt a lot of the season last year. We just re-signed him to a nice 4-year deal. So hopefully he's happy about that. And it's really funny. Jerry wants to pay the people who are really quiet, but doesn't want to say anything. Jake Ferguson wasn't in line to get paid. He was going to only be a free agent next year. But Jerry paid him because he didn't make a word. He didn't say shit. Micah Parsons here says one word, and here we go. But yeah, I mean, Cowboys will be who they are. The ups, the downs. They've got a pretty difficult schedule, as we saw with the Giants. They're playing the AFC West, so they got to deal with the Chiefs. They got to deal with the Broncos and Raiders. I'm missing a team there, the Chargers. And then we got to deal with the NFC North again, the Lions, Vikings, and Bears and Packers. So sprinkle in the Jets and the Cardinals and the Jets and the Cardinals in there. It's going to be a tough season. I think, again, the Cowboys are they're going to be competitive and they're going to find a way to falter. Do I think they're going to be better than the Eagles? Don't think so. The Eagles are basically returning their Super Bowl team with some, minor pieces leaving, but their offense is still there. The Commanders are just up and coming, so they might be in par with the Commanders as long as injuries doesn't play a factor in all this. They're going to be better than the Giants. Exciting. We'll see. I mean, they've got a line of free agents coming up next year, so we're going to have the same conversation. They got George Pickens. They got if Javonte Williams plays nice, he's going to be a free agent again. They got to play Deron Bland. If Deron Bland comes back, and plays like how he did, he's going to want that, I don't know how much cornerbacks go for. I think Pat Surtain's the highest paid, whatever he's at.
Yeah.
He's his market, or I'm just reading this right here. Deron Bland right now makes $900,000, and his market value, if he's signed, is $23 million. Micah Parsons makes $4.2 million today. Yeah, Micah gets paid $4.2 million today, and he is in line. His market value is $38 million. And George Pickens, the top three, I think, the free agents walking in next year, and then George Pickens on a $2 million deal is in line for $23 million for his position and the market value. So I mean, Jerry's just going to fuck it up again. Let's be real. Or he's going to cut. He's going to have to cut. I think Trayvon Diggs is going to be cut next year. I think Trayvon, I don't know if you guys saw this, but he got fined for not rehabbing in Dallas, but he wanted to rehab at his own place. And I guess per his contract, he couldn't rehab. He has to rehab in the facility. He didn't. I guess a lot of the players, you could feel that dynamic now. A lot of these players don't want to be there anymore because of the way they're handling Michael Parsons. You handle your star player like this, you handle your number one, number two player, whatever ranking you want to put him in. I mean, if you're going to handle him, dude, people like Sam Williams, you don't give a shit about him. Like, this is going to be another year for the Cowboys. So we'll just have to see.
Man, I hear the sorrow in your voice.
Dude, Dallas fans haven't had it nice, man. Since February 1st, it's just been tough day after day after day. February 1st is the day fucking Luka Doncic got traded. So since then,
oh my God, don't remind me of this shit.
It's just been sorrow on sorrow on sorrow, and then you hear Michael Parsons wants to leave. It's like, bro, we had 2 nice pieces, and you want to send them out? Like, come on. But that's how it is in the life of a Dallas Cowboys fan. You just got to go through another year of Jerry being stupid. Steven saying dumb things, Dak Prescott throwing picks in practice. It is what it is.
But like I want to say, but like just to add a little bit more in the draft, I thought like this again, like as you said, like the Cowboys know how to freaking draft. Again, getting an edge rusher and Donovan Ezeraku in the second.
Forgot about him too. Yes,
knowing that he could technically be a late first round pick, I thought that was a steal at best. Especially with the Michael Parsons situation, but pairing him next to Dante Fowler Jr., Sam Williams, and Marshawn Nealon, this is what's crazy about Ezeraku? He led the ACC last year with in 16.5 sacks. He also had 30 for his career to go along with 45.5 tackles for loss and 8 forced fumbles, and like he led the FBS with 62 quarterback pressures. Guess who came in second? Abdul Carter with 54. And he had a 16.5% pressure rate last season. And knowing Matt Eberflus, I think he will be more blitz heavy or like run with like a 5-man pressure, probably bring in like linebacker blitz. I'm not sure about like the specific scheme that Eberflus runs, but I would imagine the Cowboys, like position wise, they'll just like say like, hey, we're gonna randomly throw in Ezeraku, like have Ezeraku and Parsons come from the attack. If they can get the Parsons situation like controlled and they actually pay the man, but like having Ezeraku attack from the edges is like defense is gonna have a long day. And as you said, with Trayvon Diggs most likely being a free agent, I think they had the best thing when they got Siobhan Ravel.
He was a massive steal in the 3rd round. He's supposed to be a first-round talent, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I thought he was like the number 1 rank. I thought he was like fighting in between for like number 1 ranks
with Will Johnson, but I think both Will Johnson had knee issues, if I'm correct.
Will Johnson had knee issues,
and then Rebel tore his ACL. So
Jahdae Barron was like the number 1 that one.
Jahdae Barron shot up.
He was like because he was like a Swiss Army knife. He could play like corner and safety, but definitely. But yeah, especially with Jordan Lewis being gone and Deron Bland going to this last year, you have that replacement. Jaden Brewer, I like that. Shamar Jones, I did like that pick. Good, decent linebacker, especially pairing up with Kenneth Murray, Martise Luafu, Damon Clark. And I think like a lot of it was like a Johnny Cornelius offensive line from Oregon. I think like, and just to name a few, but I think like this will be like another mediocre season for the Cowboys at best. I have them going 8-9.
I don't disagree with you. I'm looking at Spot Track right here, and I'm looking at free agents, and I'm just like in shock of how stupid we're looking at. I mean, I said 2026 was the big year of Deron Bland and Pickens, and with obviously Michael Parsons being a true free unrestricted free agent next summer. Flip the page over to 2027. You got Tyler Smith, your starting guard. You got not Mozzie Smith. You got DeMarvin Overshone, who's a 2nd-round pick. So you don't have a 5th option on him. So he's going to be a true, unrestricted free agent. And then anyone else that you apparently sign. I mean, each year we go through this list, and we're going to start seeing these good players that the Cowboys draft and build. They're just going to be sitting here waiting to get paid, and we're going to have to pay them top dollar, and we're just going to have the same carousel again and again. And I don't think they're going to be 8-8 or 8-9. I think they'll do what they normally do, and they'll win 10, 11 games. I know they do have a tough schedule, and again, I'm saying if injuries are turned off, right? I think and you signed Micah Parsons. I mean, you've got a really good team. Coaching, I think a first couple of games will be a little iffy. Thankfully, we have a decent outside of the Eagles game to open the season. Got, a little games to figure ourselves out. We've got the Giants, the Bears, Packers will be tough, but then the Jets and the Panthers. So I mean, you got Shoddy has some time to get his feet wet a little bit, and hopefully with having a vet QB. I mean, Dak Prescott's in year 10. That's kind of crazy to look at. I mean, the time flies, and so
longest tenured quarterback in the NFC East.
Yeah, so year number 10. I mean, he's not a bad QB. He's not a great QB. He's Dak. Literally, he's Dak. That's all you could say about him. And if he can steer the ship, if Jerry just does what he needs to do and pays the guy, I think the Cowboys can win 10, 11 games, maybe fight for a wild card spot. Again, if injuries happen around the division, we're talking, potential division winner. But we just have to see how the season's going to play out. But I think the Cowboys will be a 10 or 11 win team.
Yeah, and last but not least, who is your Shandar Player of the Year?
From last year or this upcoming year?
For this upcoming year, who's your Shandar player?
I was really hoping it'd be DeMarvin Overshown, but unfortunately, because his knee's torn up, he probably won't play a lot of the season. I mean, let's be real, it's CeeDee Lamb, dude. CeeDee Lamb's a freaking badass. He's top 5 wide receiver. He deserves to get paid. He's a great receiver.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be exciting to see. I think I wonder what more he's going to do. And fun fact, Dak Prescott's going to beat Tony Romo in all-time passing yards this season. He's on pace to do that, barring injury. So it'll be cool. It'll be a nice season. I think. We'll just see the ups and downs, and then lose in the playoffs or barely make it. So
yeah, it'll be an entertaining season for sure.
It will.
Yeah. And now, and the next, and with that,
Pete's got that. I'm sorry for you face, man. Look at him. He's like tearing up.
I feel bad, man. I feel bad, but you never know how the NFL season goes. Like there's all kinds of things that happen. Like whatever we predict here doesn't always happen. You know what I mean? Like so, that's the ebb and flows of the NFC East. There's never been a repeat winner since 2004, 2005, right? So
yeah.
So we can't just say the Eagles going to win again because like we've known this division for 20 plus years. Like it's been the same shit, and there's always something that comes down. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Eagles fans are going to be complaining about it in like October, November if some shit goes down. You know how we go,
right? 100%.
Add the Madden curse on top of it for you guys, right? I mean,
right.
We will talk about more of that, but then we move on to our next team, the Washington Commanders. I would say this: what can we say about the Commanders? Complete 180 turn from a dumpster fire of an organization. They did the right thing by letting go of the professional shitstorm that is Dan Snyder, who even, pardon my French, everyone, fucked up Sean Taylor's memorial stand. Like, how the hell is this man still there? And thank God they had the new ownership, and led by Offensive Rookie of the Year first year quarterback Jane Daniels, and new head coach Dan Quinn, and a complete staff. The Commanders they literally got a new life, like any video game. They improved from 4-13 to 12-5. This was their first winning regular season since 2016. They won in the wild card in a very close game against the Bucs, which was entertaining. Beating the shit out of the Lions unexpectedly in the divisional round. Although we saw that the Lions got injured, but before they got curb stomped in the NFC Conference Champion versus the rivals and your eventual Super Bowl 59 winners, the Philadelphia Eagles, who, by the way, they curb stomped the Chiefs 40-22 in the Super Bowl, marked the time of death for their thing and whatever. But they were, but again, this year for the Commanders were defined by one nickname: the Cardiac Commanders, for winning close games in the final seconds. If you want a great example, look at the miracle in DC against the Bears. when Jaden Daniels threw that long Hail Mary, and we were like, oh God, what? It was more like, what the fuck were the Bears doing on defense? And holy shit, the Commanders are something. For stats, offensive DVO, they were 6th in offensive DVOA, passing 9th, rushing 7th. Again, led by their offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, ex-coach from Texas Tech.
What a nice resurgence. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No. By all means, like, we got to talk about that. Like,
he had a great season. I think we're starting to see a lot of these people who were unfortunately put in a head coaching job when their spot was never to be a head coach. I think Cliff Kingsbury's built to be an offensive coordinator.
Oh,
he's
100%.
Man. He schemed great. We're seeing the same thing with we'll see the same thing with Kellen Moore. What is Kellen Moore supposed to be? He's supposed to be a head coach, or he's supposed to be a coordinator, right? I mean, we're going to see these things. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury is most likely going to be someone like what Kellen Moore potentially will become in the future. Just a solid, really, really good offensive. Josh McDaniels, solid example in all this, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no. By all means, this is a good list.
And I'm glad that I'm really, really, really glad. I hate it as a Cowboys fan because I was hoping Cliff Kingsbury was going to leave and you'd have that another coordinator to teach Jaden Daniels. But it's nice continuity for him to have his coordinator back and, building off of that previous year.
Right, and 100%. And like I would say this, like, and what the impact of Cliff Kingsbury has done for Jaden Daniels, who's like who won a Heisman Trophy in his like last 2 years in LSU, something like that. His stats, which also won him Offensive Rookie of the Year, 331 out of 480 passes, 3,568 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 148 rushes, 891 rushing yards, and 6 touchdowns. This set the NFL record for rushing yards by a rookie quarterback. And a little more stats. The second leading rusher was Brian Robinson Jr. 187 attempts, 799 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns. And Austin Eckler, 77 attempts, 367 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And again, led by Cliff Kingsbury, like the offense tied for the second most total points in franchise history, 485 total points, and they were averaging 28.5 points per game, 5th in the league. And if you want to talk about passing leaders, there's one man that you have to mention in this conversation. Y'all know who that person is.
Terry McLaurin, I'm assuming.
Scary Terry. 82 receptions, 1,096 yards, 13 touchdowns. Followed up with Eagles legend and now tight end for the Commanders, Zach Ertz, 7 touchdowns for 654 yards. Followed by Olamide Zaccheaus, 45 receptions, 506 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Austin Eckler, 35 receptions, 366 yards. But like what we saw from the Commanders, like using Daniels' ability to run and Cliff Kingsbury focusing more on that offensive style, which I believe from Texas Tech, it's the air, which I've seen it before. It's the air raid offense, aka how far can you fucking throw? Like that's literally what the air raid is. Heavy passing game with some mixing of the run. But now with Cliff Kingsbury saying, okay, I have a mobile QB. I've done this before with Patrick Mahomes when he was a quarterback back at Tech. I saw this with my own eyes, as I've said this before in so many different episodes. Like seeing the mobility of Jaden Daniels, because what Cliff Kingsbury could do, he's good at developing quarterbacks. He's done it with Kyler Murray in the past. He's done it with Johnny Manziel before he went full rogue in the NFL. He's done it with Mahomes. That's the track record that we could say. And like you saw a lot of misdirections. You saw, and I think you saw like a ton of RPOs and a ton of trick plays. Noah Brown, who was responsible for the miracle in DC as well. But an underrated part of it is the defense, led by Joe Witt, their defensive coordinator. They had initial struggles with tackling and communication, but damn, they led by Bobby Wagner, linebacker. this team was more of a sack taking. Their total defense was 13th. They only allowed 326.9 yards per game. Third in passing defense with 189.8 yards per game allowed. They were 29th against the rush, which is why a lot of teams were able to run the ball against them. Scoring defense, they were 18th. They were 8th in sacks and 15th in third down conversions percentages allowed. Leading tacklers, again, Bobby Wagner and Jeremy Chin. And of course, Frankie Louvu. Wait. I'm sorry. I just saw Frankie Louvu jump ahead while I was trying to talk more about him. And 98 total tackles. What the hell? He jumped again. Let me finish, damn it. 99 total tackles. He led the team with 8 sacks. Jeremy Chin 2, Bobby Wagner 2. But you also have to talk about the cornerback room. Quan Martin, like the defensive backs, Quan Martin and rookie Mike Sainristil. Having Mike Sainristil playing the slot corner position, beautiful. What he did in Michigan, he was able to replicate that. Their defense, like if you want to, and they were ranked 3rd in pass defense thanks to Sainristil. But during the time they were able to trade for Marshawn Lattimore. Dante Fowler Jr. actually led the team in sacks with 10.5. Louisville with 8. And of course, the weakness was in the red zone. It was the run defense and the red zone. They were 22nd in red zone with 60.4% touchdown rate allowed. Before we talk about the free agents, any thoughts about the Commanders season, like in the 2021 season?
Listen, I mean, we mentioned it before. It was never an issue with talent with Washington. I think for years we looked at their roster and we're like, damn, they have good players. Like they've always had decent players. They just never had a quarterback and they never had good ownership. And now they found both, at least so it seems, right? So now you get a grown-up as a head coach with Dan Quinn, and, you know, Abhishek knows Dan Quinn is a grown-up coach. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to run an operation. And, you know, you guys mentioned it before with Cliff Kingsbury. I honestly think he's been an okay head coach. I mean, he got the Cardinals to the playoffs. We've seen the best ball out of Kyler Murray with him as the head coach. And he also had, like you said, a development in Patrick Mahomes, Johnny Manziel, Kyler Murray, helps Jaden Daniels out. And now another year, like you said, of continuity. And they got better. Like, we're going to talk about some of the roster moves, I'm sure. But they got an uptick in talent now. You know, you look at their schedule, you look at what they've done last season, building on what basically they were playing with house money. Right now, Washington, the fan base is just excited just to see what this team's going to respond with. Whether or not they get back to an NFC title game is a whole different discussion. But that quarterback's legit. The coaching staff has grown up. The GM looks like he knows what he's doing. They're doing all the right things, and they're going to be a team that's going to contend with, you know, with Dallas, with Eagles, and, you know, the Giants are a whole different discussion for a long time. So kudos to Washington. I really don't have anything bad to say about them other than let's just play ball and let's just see how it looks for the new season. So
yeah. And what about you, Abhishek and Pete? Your thoughts on the 2024 Commanders season?
Go ahead, Pete.
I think they're the most improved team in 2024 season. And it started with ownership, all the way down to head coach and offense coordinator. And you know, they I guess they locked out on all 3 of those. And quarterback, right? If you that quarterback, you can't win in this league. And they got the right quarterback for the future. Things are looking bright for them. And a lot of things clicked. And they won some games they're not supposed to win. So they did get lucky, but that happens when you're good. You know, i.e. the Bears game. And then, you know, we didn't expect them to have the impact they had in the playoffs, especially versus the Lions, because everybody was picking the Lions.
Hell, even the Buccaneers. That went down.
Buccaneers was a crazy game.
That was a fun game to watch.
Like they had no right to be in the NFC Championship with us, right? Because they were not that team yet.
You could say that, but they got there. They got there, though.
They got there.
They got there. You can't, you know, like it's tough to say that.
So, but then that's what I'm saying. Like it's the most improved team in 2024, and the future is just looking bright for them. And if they keep making right decisions, who knows? They can get to a Super Bowl, maybe win one. But time will tell, right? So we will see based on the off-season additions and the schedule how it pans out.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we got to talk about the off-season additions for the Commanders because they signed a lot of players and they let go a ton of players. But because of this, I don't think I can go through every single one of them. Instead, I will share the screen and let y'all decide how they did.
I will say one thing while you pull this up. I think, we talk about them winning these close games, right?
Yeah.
Not only do you have, I think they win those close games because they have a damn good head coach.
Yes,
they got a leader.
100%.
They got a guy that can sit a rookie quarterback in a situation that he was in versus the Bears would have crumbled. I mean, Caleb Williams crumbled literally the drive right before, right? Or any other game that they barely won. I mean, that first Jaden Daniels got a great, great head on his shoulders, right? He's not scared of the moment, and you got a coach, and I think that's the nice part that the Commanders have is they got a head coach that believes in the quarterback, and they got the quarterback who believes in the head coach, right? When you have that, it all works out, and the team believes in the quarterback. The team believes in the coach. The team has bought into the coach's philosophy, and Dan Quinn, yes, he blew a 28-3 lead, but he got a 28-3 lead on the Patriots.
He got Atlanta to the Super Bowl. Atlanta.
He got Atlanta to the Super Bowl.
He haven't been there since Deion Sanders was on the team.
Right. He got Matt Ryan a damn MVP. Like literally. Like so he's a good coach. He won a champ. He built the Legion of Boom. Like 100%. We forget about that, right?
Yeah.
So
1,000%.
The Commanders, they lucked out. They're getting rid of Dan Snyder. That was just the biggest thing, right? I mean, I think he was the black cat that was all over that organization. You got rid of that, and your fortunes turn over. And I think as we see the screen here, the Commanders are doing what every single team should do when they have a rookie quarterback or a quarterback on a rookie deal. Build while the quarterback is cheap, right? This is how the Bengals were able to afford Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Trey Hendrickson, and everyone else, right? The Eagles, how were they able to keep all that offensive line and the defense talent? Jalen Hurts was on a bare minimum deal, right? So the Commanders are doing the same thing, and it's going to be really exciting to see what they do. Got a really bright future coming ahead.
I mean, like you guys basically hit the hit the head on every single nail that we could even fucking think of. Like you thought, I mean, you bring in like a cheap veteran like Von Miller for like a one year $6 million deal. Like that's easy come, easy go. While they're developing all their edge rushers, we could just bring in like TJ. We could like sign TJ Yanga. Anant, if you're watching this, do not clip this. I don't want that. And then getting like a cheap signing like Michael Gallup, who I thought his career was like pretty much gone like after he left Dallas, but he's back. Matt Gay for a 1 year. Carl Davis, Tyree Phillips, like these are basic. Oh yeah, I forgot Cleveland for the real. Nate Herbig, which I just heard like Nate Herbig is like on IR, like on season ending. I think this is like before I checked last. Nick Ballore. Noah Igbenogany, Jake Martin, Sheldon Day. Oh, I forgot KJ freaking Osborne, Noel Brown, the man responsible for the for the Miracle in DC catch. They're like it was what you see are basically like up to like 1 year cheap minimum signings, like low risk, high reward at some points.
And what you can see here is vets surrounded by this very young core team. Marcus Mariota, garbage ass player, but he was the second overall draft pick. Second, right? After Jameis.
Yeah, number 2.
He had an up and down career. He's had great moments, had bad moments, but he's still a quarterback. He's a vet. And put him behind Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is learning from Mariota, right? You got a former quarterback in Kingsbury as your OC. you had Von Miller, dude. Von Miller, 2-time Super Bowl champion. How much tread does he have left? Like, probably not. Didn't he just tear his ACL?
Yeah,
or he tore up his ACL recently.
Yeah, he had an injury in Buffalo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so his signing and Bobby Wagner coming back. Like, these are all guys that are like, yes, they play great. They're still good players. They may not give you what they did back in their prime days, but these are. I just love what Dan Quinn's doing. He's bringing that culture. He wants that vet. He needs that leadership. I think, if I'm correct, Commanders are probably one of the oldest.
They're the second oldest
teams.
Second oldest team.
But shit, if you have a young ass quarterback in Jaden Daniels, who cares how old your team is? I mean,
right.
Javon Kinlaw, I think, is a really good deal that they signed.
I thought that was like one of their best signings. They got to like reinforce that defensive tackle.
And again, this is the things you can do when you have a QB that doesn't make a lot of money. I mean, the day Jaden Daniels he's going to get paid day of like $65-66 million. That's the day we're going to see what happens to the Commanders. But up until then, they can make all these moves.
Right. And I think, like, again, like when you look at their extensions, basically, again, 1 year rent. Like, Abhishek said this. 1 year rentals, like literally, except for John Bates, tight end, for like 3 years.
But he's a young talent. He's a young talent, so you got to keep him. He's a cornerstone. Zach Ertz, how old is he? 33, 34, right? Probably up there. So
he's probably the oldest one in that room.
Probably one.
Him and Von Miller, probably the oldest ones in that room. So and Bobby Wagner, probably. But
yeah, and then for their departures, they had to let go of Jonathan Allen for a 3 year, $51 million to the Vikings. I thought that was good. Jeremy Chin actually goes to the Raiders. Dante Fowler Jr., as he said, he returns back to Dallas. I thought this is surprising. Benjamin St. Juste, he goes to the Chargers. Then Olamide Zaccheaus, who was decent, 1 year, $1.5 million. Derek Forrest, 1 year. A lot. I mean, some of them like maybe unknown, but they were like, I would say, bits of cornerstones of that Commanders team, of that 2024-2025 cardiac Commanders team. And guess what? They made some big trades. The first one was the first one we got to talk about was Deebo Samuel going from the 49ers in exchange for like a 5th round pick to Washington. That's like a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 1 at best. But we have to talk about the situation upcoming. And then Laramie Tunsil, I thought that was a good move. You're reinforcing the offensive line, especially on especially on like the blind side. And you're basically you're telling Foster Sorrell and Tyree Phillips, like, hey, take a breather. We got a veteran coming in. So we don't need to move Andrew Wiley, swing him over to left tackle. And although with Sam Cosmi still recovering, and Tyler Biadasz as your center, Brandon Coleman as your left guard, so getting Laramie Tunsil definitely helps out. But the Deebo Samuel trade, that was I thought that was a good one, and which brings me to the fact about what the hell is going on with Scary Terry. What do you think? I want to hear y'all's predictions. What do you think happens?
I think I made this comment about James Cook when the pod started. Terry McLaurin's a player that loves playing football. He's loyal to Washington. He's been there through the ups and downs. He's asking, and I think he wants to get paid market value, right, which is above $34 million. But when you look at who gets paid that money, do you value Terry McLaurin up there? You got Jamar Chase at 40, 41. Then you got Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb at 33 and 34. And if the rumors are correct that Terry McLaurin wants more than 30, so you can think, okay, 34, 35. Do you value Terry McLaurin more than Justin Jefferson? Do you value him over CeeDee Lamb? I don't. He's a great receiver. I just don't put him in that list. I think at 30, he's a perfect payday. I think you got to get it done. He's Jaden Daniels' favorite receiver. You got to do it. I just think they're going to play the game of, and eventually they're going to sign him. They're going to take care of it. I think they're just going to find that number at $32 million and just call it a day. He's not going to, he's going to try to play it, but I don't think they're going to get more. He's going to get more than Justin Jefferson. So I think they'll take care of it soon enough. They should before it gets a bigger deal.
Yeah. No, yeah, go ahead, P. and Asif.
Yeah, I think they'll take care of him. They're not going to let go of their number one wide receiver. That would be crazy. And also the favorite target of Jaden Daniels, right? So, and another point about Jaden Daniels too, like Cliff Kingsbury, he might be his Brian Dable, and if we sticks around for a couple more years, you might see elite level play. I mean, you already seen good play, but you might see a different level because I think Jaden Daniels is also a winner too. So that's what we Eagle fans, we got to be careful because like competition's on right now. You know what I mean? And but yeah, going back to Scary Terry, I think they will get it done. They can't be that stupid of letting go of a great player like Trey McLaurin.
Awesome. What do you think?
I'm sure they'll get it done. Like it's just a matter of finding the right number for them. But we saw those transactions. Everybody's on a 1-year deal, so it's not a matter of like they don't have
money is
cash.
the issue here.
It's the money. It's the money. It's just figuring out what's the right number for Terry and what's the right number for Washington, right? So, but in their mind, they're saying, hey, we upgraded everything else around this kid. Let's see if we can just run it back and maybe make another run. If Terry does decide to play, which I have a gut feeling he's probably going to end up playing, I don't think he's going to play hardball once the season rolls around, if they don't get a deal done by then. Regardless, though, he's going to get his money. He's too good of a player. He's too much of a cornerstone, too much of a leader in that locker room. Yeah. Part of what, makes Washington right now is that you got grown-ups at basically every position level. We talked about it with Dan Quinn. We talked about it with like everybody else. Yeah. All the he's one of the leaders of the team, and you got to take care of that. And again, Peters is a talented GM. I think he'll get it done, and he kind of understands like, hey, we kind of can't upset the apple cart here. So it's just a matter of time. It's just figuring out what that number is, what that cap hit's going to look like. They'll get it done before the season begins, I'm sure.
Yeah,
right. They should. Yeah. I mean, they can't let this be a distraction for this season. When you're just coming off an NFC Championship game, and yes, you got throttled by the Eagles, but that game was competitive up until the fourth quarter, or mid third quarter. So you can't rely on big booty.
Oh wait. I just noticed something. Frankie Louvu just jumped again.
Jeez, man.
I mean, Deebo Samuel can't be your number one player.
No way.
Like Deebo's like pretty much like hooked at the moment.
He's basically a running back. He's basically a running back playing wide receiver.
He's still built like a running back. Big booty Deebo, like literally.
Is he like what fat? Is he like the Fat Luka meme now or what?
Yeah. No, he's like when James Harden wanted to leave Houston, just has a fat suit on, like literally. Yeah. But it's actually him.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, but
yeah.
Hopefully they get it done. It's you don't want to mess with this. You don't want this to rub Jaden Daniels the wrong way because he is your future, right? And he doesn't have that. I feel like if Jaden Daniels was in year 3 and this happened, he probably would have stood up and said, "You got to pay the dude." But he's only in year 2. Probably doesn't have that cachet yet. He probably does. Honestly, he could say something.
Yeah, he probably could. You're probably right about that.
And he's probably already said it too. But you know, he's still young in the league, so he probably doesn't want to get his. He doesn't want to say anything yet, but hopefully they do it before week 1, and they just move forward with it.
Yep, 100% on that. And with this, not only did the Commanders make some good signing, had a good free agency, but they also had a pretty damn good draft in my point of view. And I would say with the others, with that, their number one, their first round pick. Round of 29, they stuck with the offensive line. They went Josh Connerly, offensive tackle from Oregon. That again, what's the mantra? Build through the trenches, and not only not pairing up with Tyler Biotish, Brandon Coleman, and trading for Laremy Tunsil. He could technically play right guard with even though like Sam Cosmi is recovering from like a torn ACL. From like last year. Left guard Nick Allegretti, he was signed last offseason as like a fringe backup. But I think Connerly will need a little bit more developing at this point. And a stat to note, over the Washington's final 7 games, Daniel's sack percentage was 10.4% or higher in 3 of his last 4 regular season games. Pressure percentage was 37 6.5 or greater. And for the season, sack percentage was 6.5, pressure percentage was 32.5. So that was a bit of a drop. So I think they need to improve the line. Josh Connolly provides that. He has a size and he fits in that well trenched. Second round, they go Trey Amos, pairing up although they have like one true corner with Marshawn Lattimore. You have yeah, no worries. And like their next two corners, Mike Sainristil and Jonathan Jones, they're more inside, or like if you go into a nickel package, like you can only work with the suit. They needed an opposite side to go Trey Amos, who is a ball like 6'1", 190 pounds. Do you may say, oh, you can bring up, oh, he's undersized and all that, but hey, he's a dog. He will attack at the point from line of scrimmage. Gives him like more size. He's played at 3 schools, starting at Louisiana Lafayette, before transferring to Alabama and Ole Miss. So he ranked 7th in the nation with 13 pass breakups last year, and led the team with 3 interceptions.
I think it's also good that he's on the outside. Lattimore and Sandstrill or Sandstrill can be the nickel slot guy, and he'll be really good there.
And again, like as you said, Abhishek, it really works because Sandstrill, he was effective in Michigan. He was effective when he was playing slot. He's much more effective when he's playing in the slot position. So it's like, hey, let's not change anything. Let's not change anything that's already been working for us, or keep it simple, stupid. Let's just draft an outside corner. They did that right. Then round 4, they went Jalen Lane, wide receiver from Virginia Tech. They thought they need more speed on offense. Apparently, he ran a 40-yard dash in 4.34 seconds. Played for 3 years at Middle Tennessee, hurting defenses as a receiver, a returner, and an occasional run before doing the same thing at Virginia Tech. Basically, probably going to be like your X receiver, like your speed demon in case. They may try and put him in like some special plays, or maybe it's a jet sweep. Then their last 2 picks, they went in round 6. They went Kane Medrano, linebacker from UCLA. So this is to add more depth behind starters and Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu. Oh wait, I see him jumping again. The Commanders also had like Jordan McGee and Dominique Hampton before entering their second season. But Kane Medrano with UCLA, combine time 4.46 time for the 40-yard dash, fastest among linebackers. He could basically play the hybrid safety role. 6 years in college, did not become a full-time starter. Washington needed a linebacker who can cover, and that's something that they could do. I think that was something that the Commanders needed. But I honestly see him being more special teams. I don't see him as a full-time starter behind Louvu and Wagner until we see like some development. And last but not least, they added another running back, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, from running back from Arizona. Because again, Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, and Jeremy McNichols, all 3 are going to be free agents after the season. Krosky Merritt was ineligible for all but 1 game at Arizona last season due to confusion over a prior redshirt year. In his final year at New Mexico, he rushed for 1,191 yards, 17 touchdowns, good speed, ran a 4.45 on the 40-yard dash at his pro day, fastest among running backs. So we haven't seen that much out with Arizona because of the ineligibility thing, but his track record at New Mexico with the Lobos, I thought that was pretty decent. But although you could say, oh, it's a different conference, it's not like the Power 5. But I think like I would give it more like a B+. They basically added more depth into what they've already strengthened. And for like and I thought like, again, decent draft. The only one that stuck out to me was Trey Amos. That was like I thought that was like the highlight of their draft. And yeah, Josh Connolly, maybe a boring pick. but it's a big need, especially with the injury with Sam Cosmi. What do you guys think?
Yeah, their draft was pretty good. I think Andrew Wiley's getting up there in age a little bit as a tackle. So Connerly is a great, plug and play kind of guy. I think he might be fighting for the starting position for them. They've got a great team. They're led by adults. They're led by leaders. They've got great players, like we've been saying. We've been harping. I think Dan Quinn has brought that culture of follow your leaders. We're not just a play around, do nothing. We're here to win, and ownership is sticking with it. I think the nice part about it is whoever the owner is, don't even remember his name because he's not involved.
Josh Harris, the 76ers.
Yeah, whoever, right? I mean, I think Magic Johnson's in part of that too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know these people because they're big names, but they don't get involved. You don't see Magic Johnson say, "Hey, go sign him." I mean, they let the GM do his job as he should be, and be an exciting year. I think time will tell with how the season goes, and injuries, no injuries. We'll just have to see how this will be a really fun division again.
Oh, definitely. And this was very interesting. I saw one addition to their front office. Personal assistant Wes freaking Welker.
Wow.
Nice
Wes Welker. Who would have thought that?
He's a personal what?
He is called personnel assistant.
Okay. He used to be a wide receiver coach for the Niners too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And of
He's
course, he was he was Cliff Kingsbury's favorite target at
He was huge at Tech.
Wreck 'em Tech, baby. It was part of that 2007-2008 Pat season where they went undefeated until they lost to Giants.
Yeah.
And I think some of their coaching, like one thing I actually admire about the Commanders, they did not have that much change in their coaching staff. Like the only thing that they had was they actually hired Brian Schneider as their assistant special teams coordinator, replaced John Glenn, who departed to become the linebackers coach for the Raiders. They also added Jesse Madden to their coaching staff as an offensive quality control coach. But the main things, they kept Cliff Kingsbury, they kept Dan Quinn.
And Joe Wood Jr.
Yeah, and Joe Wood Jr., yes. I think like having this continuity, I think, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into their season expectations. Record and result, I see the Commanders winning up to I see the Commanders potentially winning up to 13 games. I could see it happen. Because the way that their roster is formed, if they can take care of the Scary Terry contract, I think they can go up to 13 wins, and they can actually give Philadelphia a fight for the NFC East. And knowing how the season can, knowing that the NFC East has not had a repeat winner, I have a beat the doll moment, which is going to piss off my fellow Eagles fan.
You're going to pick the Commanders, aren't you?
I think the Commanders could win the NFC East. They could.
I mean, everyone's 0-0, so
yeah,
all win. But
I think they can pull it off. I think they could. Knock on wood, pending any injuries or stupid things that happen. But then again, let's not. I think they've nearly rid themselves of of the ghost of the stench that is Dan Schneider, which is the true definition of draining the swamp. You know. And I will say, my Shandar play of the year, and beat the doll moment again. I have this guy becoming being a contender for MVP. Pending the sophomore slump, I'm going Jaden Daniels.
MVP.
As an MVP contender.
Okay.
Not like MVP.
Okay.
He's a contender.
It's going to have there's a bunch of quarterbacks out there. And add Saquon Barkley if they ever give it to a running back. But that's huge.
Yeah.
One thing I would say is they got a heck of a coaching staff, man. Look at the running game. coordinator is Anthony Lynn. I mean, and then you got Bobby Ingram at wide receivers coach. That's somebody the Eagles tried to hire like 2020, I think. And and if you go to the defensive side, they got Ken Norton Jr., right? Like he's coming all the way from the Seattle Seahawks to the Raiders to now he's over here. They got our boy Ryan Kerrigan.
Yeah, what Eagles legend Ryan Kerrigan, who didn't do jack shit for like his final year.
Well, he got some sacks in the playoff game.
He got some sacks, yeah, but that was it.
Yeah, I know. And then they got Daryl Tapp. So, like, I mean, it's a heck of a coaching staff, just like the Eagles.
Great coaching staff.
Great coaching staff.
And some of these guys are gonna get like defensive coordinator jobs like in a year or two, and offensive coordinator jobs, So this is a team you cannot sneeze at, and you gotta always watch out for the team that loses the NFC Championship, because nothing gives a team more motivation than when you lose that NFC Championship. I feel like that if you're gonna lose a game, that's the game that you want to lose. Then they gives you the fuel to the fire, and the Washington Commanders are that.
And hello there.
That was my dog.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
This is why NFL Masala is a family-friendly show. We love
it's not fit.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it with Washington. I don't know about 13 games. That's tough. That's a remember they won a lot of games closely, right?
Yeah.
So like that can go either way. That can go the route.
That's a ceiling for them,
right? Okay, that's fair. But I mean, if you look at their schedule, they go to Green Bay, to Atlanta. That's not going to be an easy game. To the Chargers. They play Chicago, who we think, I think a lot of people believe are going to be a little bit more improved. Kansas City, Dallas. That's always going to be a tough game. You never know. It's a division game.
Yeah,
you never know.
It's going to split.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be a split. Yeah.
Detroit, however we think they're going to be. I mean, that's going to be a game that they're circling on their calendar too. I'm not a fan. Look, I don't think Detroit's going to do very well.
They're going to regress a little bit.
I think they're going to regress. I don't think they're going to win 10 games. That's just my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. Denver, not an easy game. Depending on Minnesota, like there's some tough games here. That's a tough schedule that they got, especially in the first half of their season. And there's going to be more tape on Jaden Daniels. Yes, they got another year with the coaching staff and so, and they do have grown-ups everywhere, which helps. But year 2 in the NFL for any quarterback's always tough. Like that's just like the nature of the beast. So I'm going to have to see it to believe it on whether or not they're going to get to that ceiling of 13 games. I do think they'll win again 11, 12 games, probably maybe closer to that 10, 11 mark. But I also think it's more likely that they are third in the division with Dallas winning 10 games based on their schedule, because I don't think Dallas are chumps either. So we kind of have to wait and see with them. But, it's a talented group. They changed their culture. They have a grown-up head coach. They have grown-ups everywhere, which is completely different than what they had a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So they are going to be a force to be reckoned with, no doubt about it. And they added talent. So it should, like everyone said, should be a fun year for seeing what Washington does.
I think their line is 9.5 games to win.
Oh, 9.5 games,
which I think is a fair. That's a fair line.
Fair.
That's a fair line.
Very fair line because, like Asif said, and Pete mentioned this a little bit, is the sophomore slump, man. It's happened to the best of them, and it's happened to Dak. It happened to Justin Herbert. Happened to Kyler. Happened to Baker. We saw what happened to Baker in Cleveland. Mac Jones started off great, but a lot of those factors has become because OC leaves or head coaches leave or
that's also fair. Yeah.
The line is not good. So we get that we get that we lose the part of, hey, your coaching staff's gone, right? So Jaden Daniels has at least that running for him, but we saw the same thing with CJ Stroud, though. I mean, the most notable sophomore slump, right? I mean, yes, CJ Stroud went to the playoffs, won a game, but he was not CJ Stroud that we saw his rookie year. So again, I put them at like 10 games. I mean, I think they're going to contend with the Cowboys.
I think that's a fair line too. I think it's a fair mark.
I think 10, 11 games. I think they're 9.5 is very, very, a very good line. Again, if sophomore slump doesn't occur, shit, dude, yeah, they could go to 13. Who knows? I mean, but I think I put them at 10, max 11. Like you said, they won They were 10-7 last year, right? If I'm correct.
I think they won. I think they won 12 games last year. 12.
Oh, they
5.
won 12. Oh, yeah. They're 12.
Yeah,
and
they were
5.
12-5 last
But
year.
wasn't like 10 of their wins or 9 of their wins game-winning wins?
Like
by
game-winning
1 point?
drives are like
Yeah.
down
Yeah,
to
I
the
mean-
last second. It's that's
Cardiac Commanders. That
I mean,
was their
that team was easily like 8 plays
they're
away from being
away from
5-12.
exactly.
Yeah, like, what can you say, right? I mean, so I put him at 10. I think if they have a good year, or if Jaden Daniels doesn't slump as much, I think they're going to lose Cliff Kingsbury next year in the offseason. He's going to go be a head coach somewhere else. Again, I think injuries play a big role. We talk about all the vets, about the old adults that they have in the team, but we're talking Von Miller, who's been hurt. We're talking Bobby Wagner, who's been hurt. We're talking Marshawn Lattimore always has hamstring problems. We're talking about a team that is built to win now, if you want to say, right? With all these aging players, but they're aging players. So you just got it in perspective. 10 wins, 9.5, 10 wins is a solid line, I think. Like you said, Asif, I think if injuries are turned off, I still think they're fighting with the Cowboys. The Eagles are just in another level. But yeah, it'll be fun. Like you said, the NFC East is going to be a 3-horse race that, God forbid, hopefully, knock on wood, there's no major injuries and we get to see the entire season play out.
Yeah.
But shit, we might be talking injuries being the difference between one of these three teams winning an NFC East title. So,
And speaking of last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, for those that have stayed long enough to listen, and this is and me, me as an honest Eagles fan, I don't know a lot more about how this team is so goddamn good, which is why I am proud to have two fellow Eagles fans that will now give a breakdown of your Super Bowl 59 champions, the Philadelphia motherfucking Eagles. Asif and Pete, the floor is all yours. What did we do?
Okay, how are we going to do this, Asif?
Pete, I'll let you go, man. You do your thing. Do your thing, and I'll respond. Yeah, no doubt.
So I guess we started the season with Brazil, right? And Friday Night Football, right, in Brazil. And I think, getting Vic Fangio and getting some of our players back, like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and being humble the year before with all the losses, it just took this team in a different path, and the Eagles are usually good when their back's up against the wall, and that's when they perform the best. And that first game in Brazil against the Packers, you found out who Saquon Barkley was. You found out what you had a potential in Zach Bond, right? Somebody we just signed for like less than $2 million, right? That's when you knew this team could be somebody, right? And the second game, we lost against the Falcons because, Saquon dropped the pass. The third game came back, beat the Saints, and that's without a Devontae Smith, without an A.J. Brown. And then the fourth game, all hell came breaking loose, right? Like, we lost that game against the Bucs, and everybody was like, fire Nick Sirianni right now. Right. That was the emotions that we're all going through at that time.
And to add into the fact, I was one of the advocates who personally shipped Nick Sirianni to North Korea for the time being because of the bullshit that was happening. I'm like, what is our offensive identity? We have all these star players, yet we couldn't do jack shit. And every single time, it had to be against the fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Every single time. It pisses us off.
Right. And after that, I think the Eagles woke up. I think after that, something happened. That's when Cooper DeJean started playing. That's when this defense started playing cohesively.
Oh, yeah.
And you saw a different team. And then you saw Saquon Barkley rushing, right? And, And I think there's only one stat that matters in 2024. Of course, the defense, outstanding performance, right?
Big fan.
But it's Saquon Barkley. He is the factor, 2,005 yards in regular season. He could have broke Eric Dickerson's record for single season rushing, but they held him back for the playoffs. I didn't agree with that decision at the time because if you have a chance to break the record, go break the record. Why not be that team that broke the record, right? So for whatever reason, they kept him in not breaking the record, and then in the playoffs he got 499 yards. So he ended up breaking Terrell Davis's record for playoffs and regular season. And I met Terrell Davis the day before the Super Bowl because I was in New Orleans. So I was like, I shook TD's hand. I was like, "You think Saquon's gonna break it?" He was like, "Yeah, easy." Yeah, and Saquon probably had like 30 some yards to break it, so it was not like a big deal. But this team, when it mattered, they played together, and that's what I love about Jalen Hurts. The critics can say whatever they want about him. He doesn't throw for enough passing touchdowns and all of that stuff, right? But if you can't be great without the greatness of others, right? That's a saying of our coach, right? And that's so true. If you don't have a Saquon Barkley, if you don't have an AJ Brown, if you don't have a Devontae Smith, if you don't have that offensive line, it's impossible to win. And on top of that, if you don't have a mastermind like a Vic Fangio running that defense, right, we wouldn't be this team that we were in 2024. Because let's not forget who we were in 2023, right? We were horrible, right? We were like, maybe we'll get into the playoffs in 2024, but we ended up all the way to the Super Bowl. And I think the people who discredit Jalen Hurts, what they don't realize is when the lights get brighter, this kid plays way harder, right? And that's what he did in the playoffs. That's what he did in both the Super Bowls he played, and rightfully so got MVP for the Super Bowl, right? So with that said, Asif, you want to go? You have anything?
I mean, you kind of summarized the whole season pretty nicely. I was one of those people actually after week 4 who was like, what do you do with Sirianni? And then again, they had a, internal meeting, figured out, hey, let's just lean on our best players. And that's the offensive front, the offensive line. That's the best unit in football. It's their best players. Lean on them. And then you give, Saquon Barkley, who was spectacular, had a spectacular year. And again, it's funny because the year before it was a complete opposite of what they were this year. This year, after we beat Baltimore on the road in Baltimore, at that point I'm like, this team is just destined to win the Super Bowl. There's no team that can hang with the Philadelphia Eagles and at that point. And again, they stumbled upon Cooper DeJean in week 4 because Avonte Maddox got hurt in the Tampa Bay Bucks game, right? So he wasn't even starting. Comes in, completely changes life, and now the rest is history because now you just you lost one game the rest of the year, right? And that was the game Jalen Hurts got hurt against Washington. Right. So for all we know, if he stayed healthy, they wouldn't have lost the game after week 4. So
they probably wouldn't have.
It was also a Devontae Smith drop in that fourth down. They were there
right. They would have won that game if he didn't drop the pass either, right? So it's just
self-inflicted mistakes, and didn't mean to interrupt you, Austin.
No.
It was but the fact that it's the Eagles, knowing that these were mistakes that we could easily fix up, and yes, we let them go. What do we do next? Rebuild through the next game. I mean, hell, for the first time in a long time, we actually we basically swept the Cowboys and went 1-1. And what's even more, and I was looking at stats, and people are saying Jalen Hurts, he's not passing. Well, guess what? He threw for 2,903 yards, in the regular season. Saquon Barkley with 2,005 rushing yards, and 15 touchdowns. And of course, the tush push. Everyone is going to be complaining, whining, bitching, and moaning about it. And guess what? It's going to stay on for another year. So So suck it up. And what was pretty impressive when AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley were on the field, no one could figure out how to fucking stop this offense. Yes, you may shut down the run, but guess what? AJ Brown, Smitty out there somewhere. Oh, don't forget, we have Dallas Goedert. And hell, if Grant Calcaterra is healthy enough, we could use 2 tight end sets. Oh, and don't forget, we had Jahan freaking Dotson who emerged out of nowhere. Look what we do with a former first round pick. We basically turned him to a great. And not only with our defense, as Pete said, when we brought Vic Fangio in, we saw the emergence of Nolan Smith, and we saw that the elements of how that Georgia defense won that championship. When you had Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Nolan Smith, and Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean, who was that leader before he got hurt in that Green Bay game. Zach Bond may have been like the biggest tackler, but also Nakobe Dean was also one of the captains. And don't forget, my boy Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He brought that dog mentality, led the team with interceptions, as far as I know. And Quinyon Mitchell, I believe we've secured one full area called Quinyanamo Bay, which I believe Scary Terry is still locked in that area in the NFC postseason game at the end. Hey, I got to talk my shit. I got to talk shit on
one thing I would say about Vic Fangio is Vic Fangio never teaches his disciples his defense. The same way Bill Belichick never teaches his disciples his defense because job security, right? And that's why when these guys go to other teams and they try to run that system like, three players a certain way, it doesn't work, and Vic Fangio figured it out. Like, of course, everyone's going to figure it out with this talent. Yeah. But if we didn't have Vic Fangio, we were trying to get Vic Fangio in 22, right? Yeah. That's why he was in the facility being an advisor to Jonathan Gannon. And finally, they got Vic because they were trying to get Vic in 23 too, but they couldn't because Dolphins got him. So finally, they got Vic, and Vic doesn't want to go nowhere because he's closer to Philly, and I think you're gonna have some good years to come, right? Because Vic is the reason why Zach Bond is playing middle linebacker. Right, Vic is the reason why you got guys like who's that 3rd round pick from last year?
Jeremiah.
Jalen Hunt.
Yeah. Jalen Hunt.
Jalen Hunt and Jalen and Nolan Smith playing on the edge, right? And the way he improved the defense with Milton Williams, right? Because Milton Williams wasn't giving you that type of production the year before. But they did, right, last year, and Josh Sweat. So everything came together, man. And sometimes things got to come together, and that's one of the most important things. So the guy we re-signed is Zach Bond, and for 3 years, $51 million. That was a good re-signing, I think. But we also lost a lot of players, and this happens when the Super Bowl happens, right? So Mekhi Becton to the Chargers, and Oren Burks, who played a good role in the Super Bowl. He played the Super Bowl prior, but they lost with the Niners. He ended up redeeming himself with the Eagles. Paris Campbell's gone. LaRaven Clark, Britton Covey, who I don't.
Oh yeah, you were like a big Britton Covey fan for like 4th and John and Gail Saunders, Primo and Evan Hollywood Hearns kept on like giving you so much shit for that. There's like, there's a Britton Covey fanboy, right?
And then we lost Jack Driscoll. Kenneth Gainwell went to the Steelers. Fred Johnson, who was a good backup
tackle. Yeah.
I feel like we groomed him a lot, with Stoutland, and then Rick Lovato. So that's we lost a long snapper. And then Devontae Maddox went to the Lions. Isaiah Rodgers went to the Vikings. I was kind of hoping we would sign him. And then we lost Josh Sweat also, along with CJ Uzomah and Milton Williams.
Oh yeah, we also lost like Darius Slay to the Steelers for like that 1 year. And I think like this is gonna be like his final year there, but at least if Slay decides to retire after this year, he gets to go. Hopefully he comes back to Philadelphia, signs a 1-day contract, and then consequence.
And I think how we also surprised a lot of people by signing Saquon in 2024. Because Howie did the non-Howie thing. He normally does not sign running backs.
Yeah. A 2-year
and
40.
He did that, and he re-signed him again, right? For the 2-year, $41.2 million,
Mhm.
making him one of the highest paid running backs. And then Lane's back for another year. And then you got Cam Jurgens, 4-year, $68 million extension. And then Jordan Davis,
The 5th-year option.
got a one-year extension for 12.9.
Yeah.
And we'll see with Jordan Davis what he does. But they did do some additions, starting with Lou Nichols. I think they just cut him.
Okay.
Harrison Bryant, AJ Dillon, Josh Uche, who's been showing off in a training camp, and then Charlie Hewlett, who's
now on IR because of a neck injury.
Charlie Hewlett.
Yeah, I heard from Dave Zingaro on that one. Like I think they just added like a snapper on this one.
And then Adoree Jackson, we did sign him for 1 year, $1.75 million, but I don't think Vic Fangio is a big fan of Adoree Jackson, and he said how he's going to do what how he's going to do. So we'll see how that turns out in the preseason and going forward. Yeah, go ahead.
And with that, I don't know if you came for this one, Pete, but the Eagles did make a trade. They traded with the Raiders. They traded Thomas Booker, line defensive tackle, to the Raiders, and the Raiders, in exchange, we got Jacorian Bennett.
Okay.
Yeah, cornerback. He ranked among NFL CBs and this is actually from Simone with Sport. Like 18 receptions allowed in 2024, third, 37 targets, tied for 10th, 176 yards allowed, which is second most. The second, 0 touchdowns allowed, tied for first, 9 pass breakups, tied for fourth, and 62.4 QBR, sixth. And apparently this guy was drafted ahead of Keely Ringo, from what I've understood.
Oh wow!
So
I need to delve more into him. I have not watched him. So
Jacorian Bennett with the Raiders.
Okay.
But like that's the latest update on that we have. But yes, Adoree Jackson has been like Adoree Jackson has been like either hit or miss. But what else?
Yeah, so we got Patrick Johnson is a special teams ace. So they're gonna try to see what they got in him. I think he's got a lot of potential, but we'll see. Avery Williams for the special teams. Kylan Granson is another tight end, $1.75 million. Azeez Ojulari from the Giants, $3.5 million. So it's a little higher. Then Kendall Lamb from the Dolphins for $1.51 million. And then good old Matt Pryor's back. He's a draft pick from the 2018 draft. But he's always reliable. It's a backup swing tackle and whatnot. He's a big guy. So, let's see what they do with him. Terrace Marshall from the Raiders, 1-year deal. Keelan Robinson, and Ojobo Okoronkwo.
Okoronkwo, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okoronkwo,
he's the one that we traded for, right?
No, I don't know. We actually picked him up from like from as a
UDFA. Okay, and then Jacob Sykes from it's another UFL.
The UFL from the United Football League.
I see.
Yep. And of course the releases we saw about James Bradbury, Darius Slay, and
one of the latest releases is Danny Gray. So we I feel like Danny Gray was gonna make the team, but they just
I think he got injured. He was.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened. He got injured.
Okay. So,
and then of course Brandon Graham,
BG retired. Some people are still hoping that he will come back, so we'll see what happens. We might need him. Let's see. And then we signed Dorian Thompson Robinson. And it was a trade from Kenny Pickett. And then Kenyon Green, and there was another trade for CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now, I was not a fan of letting Gardner-Johnson go to another team because the 2 years this cat's been here, we've been to Super Bowls twice. And I feel like he's a leader in the locker room, and despite what they say about him, he's a presence that you kind of need, especially when dudes like Debo wants to come and bully the Eagles like he did in 23, right? Like when they came to Philly, remember that game? Yeah. Like after that game, everything went to shit. Like
it was god awful to watch.
Yeah. And then Bryce Huff, he's gone for
hallelujah.
So the Agent Zero number is redeemed again by Josh Uche, who's doing good things right now. I hear from a couple of the insiders.
Even ESP, who we trust very little from.
ESP said that.
ESP has been talking, but I mean, it's like you're given the choices between Elliot Shore-Parks of 94 WIP, Dave Zangaro of NBC Philadelphia, and in some cases Brandon Lee Gowton of Bleeding Green Nation. So it's like you're stuck with these three at most. So who do you trust?
So we got to look at the draft, right? So
oh my god, this was like. If you want to talk,
been hitting the draft pretty good the last few years, man. Like, because usually we're not the team to hit the draft out of the park, unlike the Cowboys. Like, since 2021, how we started finally listening to the fans, right? Like, started drafting players from Alabama and
Georgia.
The SEC, and how important was it to like get players from these schools because they already come with that right mindset, right? And you don't have to do a lot of work with them. And this year we got, I was surprised that we got this player in the first round this late in the draft, right? Jihad Campbell. I thought this cat was going to be off like 15, 16. He's going to be gone before 20 hit, right? Yeah. And that's another guy that, like, if we ever move on from Nakobe Dean, you got another off-ball linebacker. And I think the last time the Eagles got an off-ball linebacker was 1976.
Wow.
And like the scary thing about Jihad Campbell, we're hearing reports from training camp. He's literally hurting players. Like he's been blowing up every single play that the offense is trying to run, and he's basically a shark everywhere. And it's like the meme from Breaking Bad. He can't keep getting away with this. Like this is basically the Howie version of he can't keep getting away with this shit.
Well, listen, man. Like it's just been a change in philosophy after the Jalen Reagor pick. He was like, you know what? Let's just like not get too cute, like. And listen, like it was literally just like, hey, don't get too cute here. Just get the best players from the best schools, from the best conferences. Plug them in, and now we've had a really good stretch of drafts now that he's kind of strung together. But let's see what these guys do now, because now we talked about it before. We lost a lot of talent. You lost Sweat, Milton Williams, you lost Slay, you lost Johnson, and now in training camp we have a little bit of a question mark in regards to who's going to play cornerback too. Is Keely Ringo the guy? Will Andrew Makuba play safety because he's hurt? Like. There's still a lot of question marks here in Philadelphia, despite the talent that we got in the draft. Who, again, I don't know if Ty Robinson's going to make an impact year one. I don't know what a lot of these later round picks are going to do. Is Mac McWilliams going to play in the slot, or are we going to have Cooper DeJean there? Like, there's still question marks here in Philadelphia, despite all the transactions and all the moves that Howie has made. And I know he's wheeling and dealing and stuff, but Vic Fangio's got a lot on his plate here. They're literally trusting him to say, hey, figure this out. And we can't deny the talent dump that we had. Like last season, the roster top to bottom, best in the NFL. The depth played such a key role. Fred Johnson played in the Bengals game, took out Trey Hendrickson basically for the second half when he played, Oren Burke stepped in when Nakobe Dean got hurt. Isaiah Rodgers stepped in when Darius Slay was in and out of the lineup, right? Like, Kenny Pickett played good backup quarterback football, right? Like all these guys came in with the depth, and we don't have the same depth as we did last year. And we're relying on a lot of young players. We're relying on the coaching staff, and we're playing with house money because we won the Super Bowl title, which is, it's amazing, but it's not an easy schedule we got.
No.
Lost a lot of talent, lost a lot of leadership, and we're kind of just running right now on, hey, we're the champs. Let's just repeat what we did last season when you can't necessarily do that. And Howie Roseman's teams, they always go up and down. Like say what we want. Year one with Jalen Hurts. Yeah, we got to the playoffs. We got boat raced by Tampa Bay.
Right.
Get to the Super Bowl championship. Then we have the collapse. And since 2017, this is how Howie does his teams. This is how Howie Roseman's been building his team. So
we have yet to see a Howie Roseman team that stays consistent for a while, right?
And you know what? I think that's by design, though. I think that's by design. You know, because I think what they look at, they say, hey, in let's say a 5-6 year window, how many Super Bowl titles can we win in this 5-6 year window? As opposed to trying to win it every single year like the Chiefs are doing. Right. Listen, we've won 2 since 2017. They've won 3. Like it's a different win philosophy. And the one thing that I noticed on the list that we were talking about, a lot of 1-year deals, similar to Washington, similar to what Philadelphia, they have the same mindset. Build through the line, build the trenches, get depth, no splash signings, right? Like I think it was, you know, it wasn't a spectacular offseason, but it was something that I think you're looking at and you say, this is what winners do.
Yeah. I mean, and how he has learned from his past, right? And, you know, the ups and downs and the bad drafts that he had and finally listening to personnel. I mean, he had Brandon Hunt in the personnel department, right? He's from the Steelers. Right. Like, you know, he's had some good people in his ear, and he's finally listened to all of them, right? So, and that matters. And I think if you look at the team, go ahead.
No, I was thinking, and like not only to add that, like even with what we see during the preseason, we know for sure how he's not done yet signing. Hell, there are millions of people, like millions of Eagles fans like us, just saying, "Oh, guess what? Justin Simmons is out there somewhere," and we probably know sometime later he's gonna try and bring his ass over to Philly. That's
right, because free agency doesn't end till
October.
Is October the last time?
Free agency never ends, technically. You can always sign someone.
It's 100%. But isn't there the last day of free agency?
No, technically not. Anyone can be signed.
Anyone can be signed on this one.
It's just trade deadline has a
trade deadline. That's right. Yeah.
Look, and I think like I know like Asif like covered a lot on this one, but let's just quickly go over like the draft really quickly. Like number one, Jahad Campbell. Holy shit. Landed right on our laps. And
then number 2, we got Drew Makuba. So this guy, you know, similar to CJ Gardner-Johnson, safety play.
And from UT Abhishek, from your school.
Oh yeah, your school. You know, he's hurt right now, but we'll see how he progresses down the line. And then we got Ty Robinson in the 4th round.
I love that pick.
You know, there's a lot of promise in this player. Vic Fangio likes him. You know, he says still he's a rookie wall, so you know we'll see how as the years go. And then you got Mac Williams. I think this is
he's been showing up a lot on like on during training camp. He's been
right, and he's going to be your inside corner guy, right? So
back up to Cooper DeJean.
And Cooper DeJean might end up playing safety, so we don't know what's going to happen.
No.
And then this is one of my favorite draft picks, Small Munden. And
Georgia guy.
This guy is gonna get up in the. This guy is probably your Oren Burks of this year, and he's gonna be a special teams ace, and then he's gonna be that guy that climbs up the chart, right? And goes, you know, if N'Kobe Dean is hurt, like you know, if Jeremiah Trotter's not cutting it, it might be Small Munden. And he's over 6'2" also. So it's a bigger corner. So he's got potential. And then they got a couple other guys, Drew Kendall, you know, having a rough off season right now as a rookie, as a center. And then they got Kyle McCord, Miles Hinton, who's a big dude from Michigan. Cameron Williams, and then Antoine Powell Ryland, who's also got a lot of promise as a defensive end. We'll see. You know, this is why preseason exists. This is why training camps exist, and we'll see, you know, who comes out of all of this, right? And they signed a whole bunch of UDFAs. I'm not even going to get into that right now.
I think one of the big UDFAs I really liked from that one was like Maxim Hook. He was part of that defense that had like Quinyon Mitchell, safety, and like Giles Jackson, wide receiver from Washington, who's apparently he's been lighting up during training camp. But then again, it's like all speculation and what we can imagine. So it's a lot of moving pieces on this one. Anything you want to add, Asif?
I mean, the draft is the draft, and I think a lot of the times they draft to try to make a splash play, and they haven't done that the past few years. Now they're building for depth because they lost a lot of depth, and I think that's going to be kind of the key for the season. Like, what will our depth look like? Because, yeah, they've been healthy relatively the past few years, but like you can't just rely on being healthy every single year. And the talent dump is real. The coaching staff is there; it's fine, but like, what exactly is the expectation for the year? Do I think we repeat as Super Bowl champions? I don't know. We definitely regressed from last season, so and it's not like the teams in the NFC East got worse, right? Everybody got better. Like Dallas is not going to be a 6-7 win team like they were last season with their injuries. With Dak there, your floor is 8-9 wins.
8 wins.
You know what I mean? Like he's a good quarterback. Jaden Daniels, your floor, it looks to be, again, it would probably be an 8-9 win team. So they closed the gap. And Philadelphia took a step back. And I think when we look at it from a, bird's eye view, no pun intended, there's still some question marks here in Philadelphia that we have to answer. And even with Jalen Hurts, as much as I love Jalen Hurts, listen, he wasn't asked last season to be super elite every single week. He did what he had to do. And I will always fight for my quarterback because that's what winners do. You just win the game. That's the ultimate goal. But we're not going to have the number one defense like we did last season. That's not happening.
Definitely don't be
there's no Josh Sweat. So you're gonna definitely feel some of those heavy hitters.
100%. And we're playing good quarterbacks. We're playing good quarterbacks and good teams.
And not only that,
and not to mention the coaching staff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You lost Kellen Moore.
And
I was hoping Kellen Moore would stick around for a couple more years. So Jalen can actually take his game to the next level. But now you got Kevin Patullo. Now, is Kevin Patullo the real coach? Or is it Nick Sirianni coming back as 2023 Nick Sirianni? Right? So you got those things going on. And some of the, position coaches, like Doug Nussmeier, I think he was a good quarterbacks coach. Yeah. And he's also gone to New Orleans. So, you definitely have question marks. And if Jalen wants to take the next step, this is the time he should do it because eventually those legs are going to run out. He's 27 now, 25, 26. Yeah. So eventually, you're going to have to learn to throw the ball, man. Like, eventually you're going to have to play.
Listen, he's capable. He's capable of doing it. But we talked, I think Abhishek mentioned it before in like the beginning of the when you're running the ball, like, again, he was talking about Dallas, but like when you're running it down somebody's throat all the time, you're not going to throw the ball. Right. Yeah. So, and, poor Abhishek has just been sitting here as we're gushing over Philadelphia. He's like, I wish my team did some of these things, but, but again, but unfortunately, that's the difference with, having a good organization versus like, unfortunately, what Jerry Jones has become, and what the New York Giants have become. It's like little things that they do that make the difference between winning and losing. And it's talent acquisition. It's roster building, it's culture, it's understanding your personnel, paying guys on time, right? Like, and understanding like these games are big and you need guys who know how to play in big games. And most of their roster is from guys who've been in big programs, even their acquisitions that they bring in from trades come from big programs, come from big, teams that have big culture. So, it's well constructed, it's well designed, but like now we have to kind of wait and see what Howie and this organization is going to do going forward because, we're not the 2024 Eagles anymore. We're, it's a new day here, and you have to answer the bell. So,
100%, man, you hit the nail on the head on this one.
As the hater of all of this,
please, by all means, we want to hear this.
I just want to say, Austin, you hit the head right in the nail, man. I mean, or the nail right in the head, whatever it is. Yeah. It's top to bottom. It's a functional organization. That's what the Eagles live off of, right? Yep. Jeffrey Lurie is a great owner. Howie Roseman does his shit. He, they don't clash. Lurie's not trying to, one up Roseman. Howie's he's allowed to do his own thing. And Nick Sirianni, while he has his up and downs, he's still a good head coach. I mean, he won the Super Bowl, no matter what his faults are. He won the Super Bowl. So I do want to give props out to Jalen Hurts, man. Outside of one bad throw in that Super Bowl, that he played his heart out that entire game.
It was a masterclass.
Saquon Barkley, I could call it going in. I'm like, as much as I want Saquon Barkley to go off, and I want him to, I don't want the Chiefs to three-peat, so I want the Eagles to win. As much as that hurt, like I would much rather watch Saquon Barkley, go through it. It's like I knew the wall would hit. I knew the Chiefs' defense. Chris Jones isn't no slouch. I mean,
yeah,
the Chiefs' defensive line is good, and I was like, all right, Jalen Hurts, it's your day now. You gotta show up, and he did. And each position in on the offense has stayed the same. So the continuity with your offensive players is there. The biggest question mark is the offensive coordinator, right? Kellen Moore leaving, and I think that's been the problem with Jalen Hurts since he became starting quarterback. Is when you feel he's got his guy, the guy's gone. Right. Steve, not I was going to say Steve Carson.
Shane Steichen, yeah.
Steve Steichen, right? Shane Steichen, sorry.
Brian
Shane
Johnson.
Steichen, and then Brian Johnson was ass. But so then you saw the decline. You saw, and then Kellen Moore showed up, and you're like, all right, it's a brand new day. And as any Eagles fan, I bet losing Kellen Moore was probably more heartbreaking than losing any other player that you guys lost, because you saw what Jalen Hurts became and what he could have become had one more year with Kellen Moore, right? And as long as Nick Sirianni is out on the other side of the door of those offensive meetings, I think the offense should be fine. You got the returning players. Again, you never know what's going to happen, right? It's the National Football League. Every day is every Sunday is a different Sunday, right? So you never know what's going to happen. And on the defensive side, Vic Fangio staying, I think that's great. Obviously, you don't want to go into Sean Desai. Was it Sean Desai, right?
It was Sean Desai and fucking Matt Patricia.
Doing that. I mean, I'm glad
the disciples.
Yeah, the disciples.
You got to go with the master. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's as Eagles organization keeping them, and your secondary is very questionable. I'm interested to see if CeeDee Lamb sits in the slot, he might torch the shit out of you. While Q probably has George Pickens throwing fists somewhere in the corner, CeeDee Lamb might be torching the middle of the field. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys do on the defensive side. But again, I don't think you guys have to worry so much because your defensive front's fucking amazing. So you still got Jalen Carter. You still got Jordan Davis. Of course, regression is going to occur. I don't think you're going to win if you guys won 14 games, right?
14
games.
I
don't know what the line is.
10 to 12 games.
Between 10 to 12, honestly, I think you guys won some close ones. You guys lost some close ones, right? So, I mean, plus or minus, I give it 10 wins. And what I do like what Howie's doing is he's setting up for the future. He's setting up by these one-year deals. He is setting up for those paydays for those players. He's going to pay Jalen Carter. So Jalen Carter is about to get a blank fucking check, right?
Yep.
And then line that up for a couple more years. Saquon Barkley is going to come back to the table. Devontae Smith is going to come back to the table. Dallas Goedert is going to come to the table. Jalen Hurts.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown's going to come back. I mean, these guys want to come back to the table with 3 years left on their deal because someone popped the shit out of them, right? So Howie is setting up for this. I think it's going to be a down year. I think the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Commanders are, like you said, that's a perfect example. We all took a step up. You guys took a step down. I think the playing field is fucking even now. Maybe you guys are up a little bit because you still have the high of the Super Bowl, so I'll give you guys that, right? And you have that experience. But the NFC East, between the top three teams, is going to be a blood.
Competitive. It's going to be competitive.
It's going to be very competitive. Like, I can see, as a Cowboys fan, I can see the Eagles and Commanders being splits. The Giants are easy 2-0s for the rest of us, right? But, like, the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Commanders could easily split their games. And we're talking week 17, week 16, or is it 17 and 18? We're going to be deciding, holy shit, the division's still up in the air, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a clear-cut winner like it was this year. Because like you said, the Cowboys, barring injuries, aren't going to go to 7 wins. The Commanders, they may not win 12 games. They're going to, if their line is 9.5, I give them 10, right? Yep. So and the Cowboys line is I think 9, so I'm going to give him 10. So I mean, like, it's going to be crazy. And the Eagles are Eagles, man. Y'all are crazy as shit in Philly, so y'all make home field advantage even crazier. So
yeah, that is the one thing. If we get home field advantage, no one's beating us in the NFC. There's
no
nobody beating us
one
in the
is. I
NFC.
don't think anyone is. And AJ Dillon signing is very underrated in my opinion. I think having Saquon, you don't want the Saquon regression is going to occur. I'm not even talking about Madden curse. He's not going to go out.
He's not going for 2K. Yeah, not
going for 2K.
And not only regression, like, when do you ever get a healthy Saquon?
Well, listen, it's a little bit different in Philadelphia too.
No,
Philadelphia.
Here's the thing: with a healthy Saquon, we were able to have a healthy Saquon because of 2 factors. We had the best offensive line in Statler University, and he wasn't playing in that shit-ass turf called MetLife Stadium. It's a proper training area called Lincoln Financial Field and the NovaCare Complex.
And you know what? He's not getting smacked by 300-pound linemen the second he touches the ball. He's not getting tackled until the second level. And I mean,
just then he's gone.
Then he's gone. And then he's gone.
Yeah.
Because like linebackers are smaller, safeties are too small to bring them down. They're too slow. Cornerbacks are too light in the ass to take him down, right? And he's a home run hitter, right? Like you said, once he gets past that second level, he's gone. So it's the perfect complement. It's the perfect combo at the moment. And they may very well just try to give it to him again another 300 something times, because who's going to be physical enough to stop the run game by Philadelphia? Very tough to do. The Rams can't do it. Maybe the Bucks can do it. I'm not sure what Dallas has done on the defensive line to.
No, I don't think anyone can, because the problem is
exactly
your offensive line is pushing these people back 10 yards.
Big move small. Big
like
beat small.
I know, literally. And think about it. If Saquon Barkley is going to run it, like, let's say the first 18 downs of the game, and then you're like, all right, Saquon, you're out. AJ Dillon, go fucking beat the shit out of them. These defensive tackles, these linebackers are not, by the fourth quarter, they're not going to want to tackle. And then add the push on top of it.
Yeah,
right.
I was
going to start running in there. So no one is going to want to tackle, which I think the signing, Howie's just leaning on that offensive line,
100%,
defensive line, and again, that's how you win, right? That's how you beat the shit out of Patrick Mahomes. You literally pushed his center in his face and said, "Now throw it," right? Like you guys sent 4 and still beat the shit out of him, right? Like literally, you didn't have to blitz and he was still going off. So Eagles are going to be the Eagles. I think you guys are not going to win 14 games. If you guys, might be, either if we're going to talk about, history, you might not win the division because no one's repeated, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think I really, really, really wouldn't be shocked if I would be clowning you guys like I did 2 years ago when the whole collapse happened, right? 10-1, and then you end 10-7 and lose to the Bucs the way you did. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if that happened, right? I mean, it is what the Eagles have done, up, down, and this is one of those down years. So it'll be interesting to see if you guys do stay up. I mean, holy shit, Howie's exec of the year again, man. Like, give it to him, whatever. Like, and like you said, if you guys get home field, ain't no one gonna beat you in there. And you get the first week off. Say less too. Like, see up Saquon for another week. I don't like the way they sat Saquon. I think they should have just let him beat the record. I mean, but you did win the Super Bowl, so
they capped it off with the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
so like it's tough to look at it and say they did the wrong thing.
There's a phrase.
They didn't win the Super Bowl. Yeah,
there's a phrase. It's like it doesn't mean a thing, and it doesn't mean a thing without the ring. I think that's what the 72 bowl. That's what the 72.
That's what the Warriors did, right? I mean, that's the problem.
Oh no, the Warriors had 73 wins, but they didn't win the goddamn thing after LeBron blocked.
Yeah, so I think Saquon missing the record it's a moot point. You guys won the championship, so it doesn't matter anymore. And he's going to retire an Eagle, most likely. Let's be real. I don't think they're going to let him go. Maybe they do because Saquon might be old and they aren't going to want to pay him that top dollar, so he might get owed. But I think I like what Howie did. Signed him for a little less than market value last year, saying, "Hey, Saquon, you fucking win the Super Bowl." I feel it might have been a Super Bowl or bust season last year, mainly with all
Sirianni, definitely.
Yeah, with Sirianni, this had to be for him.
Really, Howie doing what Howie doesn't do, which is sign that guy, sign the top player coming on the free agency, right? And he probably based on how this looks, he told Saquon, "I'm going to pay you less so that I can build this team better, the moment after the season, if we do well, I'm going to pay you the money. And he did. He kept his word. He paid him the money. And he paid A.J. Brown. He paid Devontae Smith. And, now he's about to give Jalen Carter a blank check. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm really curious what your guys' team is going to look like in this year and then even in the near future, because these 1-year deals, if they keep hitting Zach Bond, I mean, you guys got him on I think, what was it, 351, right?
Yeah,
351,
like
yeah.
And then
I still
how
think
we
that's a
just
great
signed
deal.
this deal too.
Yeah.
Right? Because how we just signed this deal for 2025 too. So
he signed.
Yeah.
Damn! I did not know that.
He's good. He's locked up for a few more years. So
more fleecing for him than.
I mean, the thing is, these to me, I think the Howie Roseman might be the only caveat in all this, but GMs and head coach signing these extensions is such bullshit moves, because 1 or 2 bad seasons, they kick them out with like 5 years left on that deal, right? We saw with John Gruden's a really bad example with how the reason why he got cut, but he only had he was in his 2nd year of the deal and they said bye, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
but that comes down to relationship, like you said, right?
Yeah.
Like the relationship he has with Jeffrey Lurie is different, because Jeffrey Lurie had so many opportunities to fire Howie Roseman. Like he would have been gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like after 2020 season, he would have been gone. It was horrendous, right? He just kept him in. So I think the goal for the Eagles is you have to look at it like, how long are we going to have this team? Let's say till 2030. How many Super Bowls do you want to win within that time period?
Mm-hmm.
Are we winning another 1 more or 2 more? Right? It doesn't matter if you win them back to back or if you win them a couple of years off, right? Because that's when you want to win them, because that's when you get the most favorable schedule. That's when you get the money freed up and you can go sign your players. And that's like you said, man, like that's the formula, and that's probably by design,
Yeah, I mean, you guys might have a bad year. Injuries might play a role. I mean, and I think the nice thing that Howie looks at is, I guess the Eagles do a really good job scouting recently, right now with all the draft picks that they've made, is how the hell did you end up with the 8th pick to get Jalen Carter, right? I mean, you had a bad season, you had injuries, and they, didn't make it look like they were tanking, but he probably had Jalen Carter on the list, and he was like, we're going to get here. He drafted well. I think, as long as Jalen Hurts is healthy, I hope he takes that next step. He has been I don't like the Eagles, obviously, but like I've been seeing the way, a lot of these talk shows like First Take or some people on ESPN talking about Jalen Hurts is not that top guy because of the talent he had.
Oh, I mean, the top 10 QB.
Yeah, the top 10 QBs. I don't know if you guys saw that list. There's like Patrick Mahomes on his own level, deservedly so.
Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts. That's like.
I don't think. I mean,
quarterback throwing the ball. That's what they're not going off of wins. They're not going off of leadership.
Yeah, but what bothers me the most is whenever you look at that list, the goalposts get moved because of Jalen Hurts, right?
Yep.
They'll say, "Oh, we love Jaden Daniels." Like, I get it, he's young, he's the future, whatnot. But dude, Jalen Hurts just came off the Super Bowl, bro. Like, you got to give him props. He romped the shit out of Jaden Daniels. He beat the shit out of Patrick Mahomes. There's only one guy in the NFL today who has gone toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes and outplayed Patrick Mahomes, and that's Jalen Hurts. Like, they got lucky that 2022 championship, right? I mean, had Bradbury not held Juju, like, you guys would have won the championship that year, most likely, right? I mean, same thing with, this past year, Jalen Hurts outplayed Mahomes like no other. So I hope Jalen Hurts takes that next step. I hope he doesn't regress, because if he does and he just feeds off of the tush push, it's just going to be the same thing that happened the year before, right? Jalen Hurts is not that guy. He doesn't deserve that money. He's not worth it, which I think he deserves it. He's a leader. He's not going to be Joe Burrow. He's not going to throw 500 yards a game. He doesn't need.
He doesn't need
right?
to be. Doesn't need to be.
Needs to be. As long and I don't like using the word game manager, but that's what he is.
That's fine. That's fine. That's one. That's one in the NFL.
You get him all the way to the Super Bowl, baby. That's why you got
to manage the shit out of it. Yeah.
As long as you win games and win the Super Bowl.
I mean, let's be real. The greatest quarterback of all time
100%
was a game manager.
Game manager.
Let's talk about it. Tom Brady was a game manager. I mean, yes, he had those games. What did he do? He just said, "Don't make a mistake."
Even
he did make a
Mahomes.
mistake.
Even
Mahomes
Mahomes has
is-
become that.
mentality.
He's become that. You
he has
know, like
become that. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So,
Yes. I mean, a lot of these players are becoming game managers, and you can see how that has changed the way they play. They're smarter about it. You know, Josh Allen is starting to get to that level a little bit where he's like, Josh Allen was the most stupid player who would just launch it for no reason and get picked off 5 times.
Yep.
Now he's like, all right, dude, we're going to lose a game because of me. And I got to not do that. So now he's smart. Like Jalen Hurts is the same thing. He doesn't see A.J. Brown open. He doesn't see Devontae open. Is Goddard open? Nope. Run or dump it off to Saquon. He's gotten a lot smarter. I hope he takes that next step. But personally, I hope he doesn't. Right? I hope he regresses. But
it's okay. It's okay. With
as a person who likes watching like good football, he's a great quarterback. He's very underrated.
totally agree.
And I hope he is on that. He deserves to be on that level of Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. He's got a Super Bowl that none of them do. He's got a Super Bowl MVP that none of them do. He deserves to be in that list, and I hope he takes that next step to go up there.
Yeah. I think like that's like very good. And I think like you mentioned, like I think you actually landed on to the next section, which is basically the season expectations, record and the Shandar Player of the Year. For me, I think I would say ceiling wise, please emphasize the word ceiling. I have the Eagles winning at least 13, 14 games. If and only if the offense shows more, like if the offense under Kevin Patullo does enough to win games and Jalen Hurts doesn't regress, and the fact that Vic Fangio is still there and this Eagles defense doesn't regress. That's if and only if these factors happen, 13, 14 wins at best. But honestly, I see them winning like at least up to 11, 12 games. And I wouldn't mind that. And I would say the battle for the NFC East is gonna come to week 18 against the Commanders. That is a beat the dome moment from here. And I'm actually I'm going to try and attend a home game October 5th against the Broncos. I want to see how they do up against that defense. I'm going to try being the key word on this one. But again, I like if I'm looking at season expectations up to the NFC Division Championship until the NFC Division round, the NFC Conference Championship, going back to it is going to be a hard task. I think there are a stupid amount of NFC teams that can be at that level, especially like the Rams, the Packers, even the Lions. I mean, if the Lions somehow magically don't regress, they could be a thing. And even the Commanders. The Commanders can give us a run for our money on this one. I don't know if the Eagles go back to the Super Bowl. I just don't see it.
And we just talked about just the NFC East, right? We forgot about the other 3 divisions that are sitting out there, right?
Yeah, and we have to cover the NFC West.
We got the Rams. They're still good. The Niners. We are sleeping on. I feel like we're sleeping on the Niners.
Yeah, no, they got an easy schedule too.
They
win 10, 11 games.
Christian McCaffrey, as long as Christian McCaffrey's healthy, they can win games. The Seahawks. I know Sam Darnold's out there.
And Cooper Kupp is there too, yeah.
So they're still good teams. I mean, the NFC North, as long as the Lions don't decline, they are going to regress, in my opinion. I don't think you can survive losing 2 coordinators.
Yeah, I agree.
And all those injuries, those players need to make their way back. So they might not be as great as what they were, but they still are a really good football team, really good led football team. The Packers, the Vikings. If JJ McCarthy hits, it's literally plug and play, right? I mean, And I mean, the Bucks? Do we keep forgetting about the Bucks? I think
they're
the Bucks
I think they can be the 1 seed.
I think they could be the 1 seed. Easily, they're going to easily win their division. I know the Falcons are going to give them. Michael Penix is going to give them some, trouble. But the Bucks are significantly better. Baker Mayfield has turned his career, his life around out there, and I think we forget how stacked the rest of the NFC is. And it's not just our division. Like, yes, our division's already so hard, and now you got to go out there and compete You're right. Bucks could easily be the number one. I think the Packers could easily be the number one. The Lions, if they're still good, the Rams could be number one. I mean, what is it? Byron Young is fucking amazing. Like
Byron Young, along with Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, that defensive line is freaking terrifying.
There is one thing though about the NFC that I think no one has answered outside of Tampa Bay is that who can stop the run. Which one of these teams are going to be able to stop the run? None of them have had that answer except the Buccaneers. And, the Rams can't do it. I think they're still a little, light. The Washington Commanders, they have to prove it. Dallas, I think, we saw some of their acquisitions. I don't know if they have to go out there and prove that they can do it. Detroit, don't think they're going to do it. I don't think Green Bay is.
Detroit might be able to do it.
Maybe.
Well, you know what? Detroit did it.
They did it, but like now they lost their coordinator now, right? So
Kelvin Shepard's still there. So it's like, what can he do? Is he gonna still bring back the same old like Aaron Glenn type of defense? But then again, people have already seen the tape of what other teams have done. It's a everyone starts 0-0.
This also goes back to Pete's comment of the disciple sometimes doesn't hit. It's always the master that hits, right? So you're right. The defensive line play, I think the Bucks and the Eagles are the only two teams that have proven that, at least back-to-back seasons, and then the Lions did it, that they can stop the run. The Rams, after losing Aaron Donald, have not been able to stop the run. I mean, the Niners, ever since their defensive line is always in and out. Like Nick Bosa, always hurt, whatever, right? I mean, it'll be interesting. I think the NFC is going to be one of the most fun conferences. It's like the West of the NBA. It's stacked as fuck. 100%. There's two teams, seven spots, and you're gonna have someone missing and be a 9-8 or a 10-7 team. They're gonna miss the playoffs because they lost a game, unfortunately, right? I mean, it's gonna be one of those things. But I was just looking it up. The Eagles' line is 11 games, so I would honestly say I would stick to that 10 or 11 games.
11 games.
I think, I said the Cowboys were going to be around 10, 11. I gave the Commanders around 9. So, I mean, that's why I said top three teams are going to be around 10, 11 wins. And barring injuries, barring any crazy shit, I mean, you're looking at potentially a NFC North situation where you're going to have a 15-2 win team. You're going to have a 14-3 win team, and then you're going to have an 11-8 or 11-4 team or 11-5 team. So you might run into something like that, which will be really interesting to see and exciting for football. But
and to add that, my Shandar play of the year is a bold take. Again, I know it's pretty late, but I gotta say this shit. This guy is going to be my defensive rookie of the year. I'm going Jihad Campbell.
Wow.
Jihad Campbell is going to wage war on everyone.
Nice wordplay because of the name. Sorry. Had to just say it.
Don't cancel us.
No, please don't.
Yeah. And I think as we talked about it, if we did NFC East rankings, for me, just to quickly start off, with ceiling wise, I had the Eagles somehow miraculously winning the NFC East, which is going to be difficult. Then the Commanders, Cowboys, and then Giants, in that order.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think I tend to agree with that. I think 11 wins the division, and I think Washington and I think Dallas wins 10 games each. And then at that point, once you get to the playoffs, it's however it rolls out.
It's a clean slate.
Yep.
And I'm I think probably go ahead. I think we win 11 or 12 games too. But I think Jalen takes an extra step this year. Even though it doesn't manifest in the playoffs, I can see Jalen throwing for what did he throw for last year?
29-3.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
I can see him throwing for 1,000 more. So
I think he hits 3,500 this year. I think they're going to ask him to throw it a little bit more.
Kevin Patel is going to adjust his offense. No, you got to be the thrower.
And listen, he very well just be like, hey, you know what? Give it to Saquon and just let it ride. Like,
they might do that early,
and
then then he'll figure it out and throw more. So like
Mhm.
I feel like he takes that extra step, and you still retain Kevin Patullo, go the next year and maybe do something special. So
Yep.
yeah, I don't see us going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Which is fair enough because like the NFC
hard.
is gonna be
unless
NFC
we're the 1 seed.
Unless
we're the one seed. Yeah.
But then again, like it's all wishful thinking, and I would say like the NFC. I think Abhishek said this right. The NFC is going to be a bloodbath. I don't think anyone is coming out of it alive. Honestly, it's.
Right.
I mean, even if you get the number 1 seed, it's a war.
Yeah.
It's basically a war to fight against who faces off against Kansas City.
I mean, let's think about it. If you're the number 1 seed, there's a very high chance you're going to play Tampa in the second round. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
think
damn
about
much.
that. Like, there's a really good chance of that. And
But hopefully, if you get that number 1 seed, Tampa Bay better come bring their asses to Philadelphia because every single fucking
AJ
time,
Brown better be healthy because if there's no,
he
AJ
better be
Brown,
healthy. Yeah, I was like, yes. Every time we've lost to Tampa, we do not have a healthy AJ Brown. We do not have a healthy Devontae Smith. It's like we were playing with a bunch of fucking backups. Now they better come to our fucking turf, and I will be happy to see Baker get his ass lit. Fuck you, Baker Mayfield.
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna go on the Baker hate because I am a big fan of Baker Mayfield. Tampa Bay is a good football team.
It's a good team.
I also don't subscribe to the idea of like, oh, these guys were injured, we lost the game because they're, listen, 53-man roster is a 53-man roster. Everybody comes in injured. You got to win the game. You're all professionals.
Yeah.
That's the job.
Yeah,
So,
but that's still the impact of AJ Brown.
Styles makes fights, man.
No, it makes
Styles
sense.
make fights. So.
Yeah, and I think it's all valid. The only reason why I have hate for Baker is back in my college day when he was a walk-on freshman at Texas Tech. You should have fucking signed him to a scholarship, but no, he walks his ass to fucking OU. Fuck the Sooners and fuck you, Baker, for that. So I have a fucking grudge on that shit. So fuck you, Baker.
I'll just say for the Eagles, one of my players that I'm gonna hate watching terrorize other teams, including mine, is I think he should win Defensive Player of the Year, and that's Jalen Carter. I think Jalen Carter is a game wrecker. Yeah. I know he doesn't get those. He's like Aaron Donald. He's not going to get you the sack numbers, but with 5 players on his ass, obviously everyone else is going to be getting sacks. So he's easily a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I think if the Eagles have a great season, being the 1 seed and all that stuff, and he does apply that same pressure and he continues off of the way he played in the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be shocked if he wins Defensive Player of the Year. So like I said, the Eagles 11 wins. I don't think you guys are going to go 14 wins or whatever you did. If you guys literally just kick off week 1 and beat the shit out of us, because we're playing week 1, right? So like opening night, dude. I mean, if you guys come in and you look like how you did last year, holy fuck, maybe you will. Like, who knows?
Yeah, those first 5 weeks, man. We played Dallas, Kansas City, the Rams, the Bucks, and Denver. You go
3-2 in that. Or 4-1.
I'm expecting 3-2. If you go 4-1 in that, you're winning the 1 seed. You know what I mean? Like
I wouldn't mind going 3-2.
I'm thinking they're going to go 3-2 as well. But like you win 4 of those games, who in the NFC is going to stop you? Like at that point, it's just like,
yeah.
And also the biggest test is winning at Tampa Bay.
I agree. That's a house of horrors for Philadelphia.
And for me, I'll do 2 rankings. One being the homer and one realistic. Obviously, I'm going to say the Cowboys are going to win the division. They're going to bring, they're going to win the division and then lose in the playoffs. Obviously, that's always going to happen. Then I think the Commanders and the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to regress quite a bit after the Super Bowl run, and with the Commanders taking a step up and the Cowboys taking a step up post no more injuries. I think the Eagles might falter out to the 3rd seed. But the number 3 team in the division, but you guys might win 9 or 10 games. So, I mean, it's not going to be a horrific season in terms of that. And then obviously the Giants. But if we're talking realistically, and thinking about history at the same time, I think it's really funny. I think the Commanders are going to win the division. Then the Eagles, Cowboys, and the Giants.
Right.
And I think
yeah.
Jaden Daniels will be a top 3 finish in MVP running. And it's going to be Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen again, probably. And honestly, you know what? Fuck it. Throw Baker Mayfield in it.
I was about to say, if Baker gets the 1 seed, he'll be in there too, man.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah. Give it Lamar. Obviously, Mahomes is always going to be in that conversation. Joe Burrow is always going to be in that conversation. But 4 players that I'm really watching or that I think should deserve to be in that race is Jaden Daniels and Baker Mayfield.
Yep. And I think with that being said, this concludes a very eventful episode of NFL Masala. If you like this episode and this podcast, make sure you follow us on our platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Pocket Cast, and YouTube. On YouTube, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell notification. If you want to check us out on social media, we are on Instagram, Twitter/X, and Threads under the username at NFL Masala 2022. That is at NFL Masala 2022. Pete, Asif, and Abhishek, where can we find you guys on?
Well, you can find me on the Pete Nathan podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'm also on YouTube at Pete Nathan. Good.
Thank you. You can find me at the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast on YouTube or on Spotify. You'll see a cartoon picture of myself. Trust you me, that's definitely me. So don't be afraid to hit subscribe.
Awesome.
I'm not as cool as these other guys here with podcasts. You can just catch me on Twitter, Shrek the Shrek, ranting the shit out about Dallas sports and hating on the Eagles and just talking NFL and NBA. That's what I do.
And when the season starts, I'm gonna have some of y'all on my podcast, so I'll send y'all an invite.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Well, we'll definitely
each Eagles game, or y'all want to just shoot the shit, talk game, football. Just let me know.
Yep. And in the words of Anant, of my co-host Anant, we will leave you with our final words. From his side, he says, "Go Pack, go!" And from the Eagles, we all we got.
We all we need.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Thank you. Take care and have a good night. Deuces.